Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? Happy Saturday. So many games today I love. I got 8 locks this weekend. I think I have 6 in college. And there's a few games I didn't lock that I could have locked, but I said I had enough locks. Just the way it lines up, it's the point spread. It's who they're playing. We've got a lot of games that just are good matchups. Again, USC over is the free play. Definitely what we are looking for. And I checked a critical injury in the NFL on Miami, and they don't look like they're injured anymore. So there's Tyreek Hill, there's Waddle, there's the running back. They're not even injured anymore. They're not on the injured list. So that's good news for me. All right, week 9. So let's go through the lines. Today, Florida Atlantic killed Charlton yesterday. Hey, G. Thank you. The problem is I can't see. Yeah, I got nice eyes, I've been told, but the vision's really bad for reading, so I can have that. But thank you very much. I appreciate that compliment. The girls like the eyes usually too. All right. Thank you.
After game 5, when it lined up on my bull.
Shut up. All right, so let's go through the line. Anyway, 1 second. All right. So let's go through the games. And the key is any injuries. What are you laughing your ass off about, G? The girls? Army -10 and 50 hasn't changed. BC 14.5, 50.5. Hasn't really changed. Florida State 20.5, 50, 1.5. Nothing major. UCF 759.5. All right. Oklahoma 9.5, 65.5. Really had it was 10, went to 9.5. I think Kansas will give them a game at home. It's funny how it matters where my girls, yeah, well, here in Michigan I'm alone, but then I get my girls. So unfortunately the fucking war broke out. So I can't, it's hard to visit them because the girl in the Ukraine, there's no airport. The girl in Russia is the war. I can't get there. So it kind of sucks right now, but yeah, it's nice. They're nice people. So that's all I care about. Penn State 31.5, 45. Hasn't moved. Maryland 13.5, 48.5. Hasn't moved. Kansas State 17.5, 59.5. Okay, 70. Hasn't really moved. Interesting game, that one. A&M 16.5, 52.5. I think I like A&M in that game. Looking at South Carolina, they stink. Radler stinks. A&M's played some good. Tennessee and Alabama pretty good. So curious game there. SMU is 20, 56.5. Western 2.5, 47.5. From 3 to 2.5. My girl is in HTX. Is that Houston, Texas? Thankfully, I just saw her, but can't travel for a while, so I definitely get it. I'm in Miami today. Yeah, Houston. Okay. Yeah, it's well, I'm really getting some weird vibes about the economy. I keep going to the grocery store, but like I'll run out of veggies, so I go get veggies, and then I need meat because it's either one or the other, and I don't eat out that often. Just today, I get Chinese, and it's like $40. I went to Walmart last night. I got some my dark chocolates, and I got toilet paper just because, and I got like air freshener for the bathroom, and just some odds and ends. I think celery. It was like $40. It was like, Jesus Christ. And I'm not getting a lot. And so I've been going like like 3 or 4 times to the grocery store, but it's nuts how expensive it is. And I can just feel like people are running their credit cards up. Like this is the end. It's coming. I can feel it. Clemson 9.5, 43.5. Excuse me. Where's Clemson? I hate when they put them out of order. So you take it in order, and then they change the order for these TV times. Memphis 6.5, 67.5. Michigan, no, State. Minnesota 741.5 to Michigan State. Miami 18.5, 47.5. Louisville 6.5, 46.5. Money's been going. Louisville was 4.5, went up to 6.5. And the over-under went from 47 still. App State 16.5, 55. If I can find them. Okay, that didn't move. Not a lot of line movement today, at least not yet. Ohio 7.5, 39.5. hasn't moved. Miami of Ohio's quarterback's out, so I'm expecting a typical Ohio game. Nebraska 2.5, 39.5. That's fine. Oregon 6.5, 47.5 over our Utah team. That line hasn't moved. Georgia 14.5, 49.5. Hasn't really moved. Notre Dame 20.5, 44. Hasn't moved. Iowa State 2.5, 47.5. I don't really get Iowa State favorite here, but maybe I don't see injuries. It's kind of a weird. I like Baylor on a home dog to Iowa State. I'm not getting that one. I don't smell what the Rock's cooking on that one. Texas 20.5. I guess they're up top. 20.5. Now, this is a weird one because their quarterback's out. Ewers is out. He got surgery, whatever. He's out. They're still 20.5. That would be the line with Ewers. So I don't understand that. BYU's not bad unless there's some injury I'm not seeing. We'll check that out. Auburn 6.5. 41.5. That hasn't really moved against Mississippi State. UTSA 18.5. Where are you, UTSA? Oh, here you go. 18.5, 47.5. Up from 46. USC 10 and 66.5. Our free play. Go over. I'm shocked that I think it went to 67 and then it just sat at 66.5. I don't think people realize how strong the offense Cal has because Cal is a 40-point a game offense and played Oregon State to a 100-point game, like 50 to 40 something. So this seems like a low number, but I don't think people realize it. Hey, Alex. You want to do I got 7 good ones for you today if you'd like. They're all locks basically. We can do a lock parlay. I can throw you some pros if you want too, but certainly you can do that. The site's been fine. Once they finally got to it and fixed it, it's been fine. I don't know if they lost like a ton of sites. I know they switched to this blue company, bought them out. So I don't know if they had to transfer all the websites to them, and therefore everybody lost it, and then they had to load you up. But since then, it's been fine. Okay. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, there's a ton of them there. You'll do well this time for sure. I was very picky on it, and I added a lock. Well, I didn't add it. I added a pick this morning because I saw Miami. Nobody was injured on Miami all of a sudden. I think that's the steal of the weekend. Today, a lot of good games and just a lot of good numbers. Let's see. Tulane 10.5, 54.5. I like this game. I was going to play it over. I haven't played it yet, but Rice is pretty good. They score, and then Tulane's a very strong team. But the game's at Rice, and I think Rice can do them. We got UL Monroe 255 down from 57 against Arkansas State, a clash of the Z teams. We have South Alabama 11.5, 55 to Lou Lafayette. I don't know if their quarterback's playing. They got one guy, Woodbridge, their starter's out, but they've had a backup, but I don't think he's as good. You wish you had $75. Yeah, you can go on credit, G. If you want it, you can pay me. Next week's fine. Just let me know. I do that with some people. Some people buy my year and they make like 2 payments on it. I don't care. As long as they do what they say. So if they say, I'll pay you on the 1st of October, then I expect on the 1st of October PayPal. So yeah, you're good for it. If you pay me next week, G, that I can send it to you. Boise, 4.5, 48.5 to Wyoming. This is an interesting game here. I think Wyoming hangs in there. Yeah, I mean, for you, I can do it. You're a customer. I mean, the new ones, I kind of like to make sure I can, trust them. But you've been with me for a long time, so I don't care. Okay, I'll send you. I'll send you the password, and so next week's fine. I mean, that's fine. Let me give it to you now. So hold on, I got to give G the password. Okay, this is, what are we at? 10:28. So the 10:30 password. God, I don't think I put enough numbers and letters on it, but they're all lucky. All right, let me email it to you. All right, G, you got it. I got some lady in China. I got this email from she's in China. I've never gotten a Chinese email. They're probably out to buy me or something. All right, back to our lines. Yeah, that's fine. Whenever. Next week's fine. Okay. Where were we? Boise. All right. Marshall, 3.5. 46.5 to Coastal Carolina. McCall is out. He's had some sort of surgery or something. We got to see how the backup does. So be careful with this game without McCall. Maybe you go under. Marshall's an over team, over under 46, but you don't have McCall. So that's why Marshall's favorite here. Tennessee is 3.5, 51.5 to Kentucky. Yeah, I was doing I'm going to show you how to micro analyze this game here. We'll come back to it when I'm done with these spreads. I found something very interesting looking at it. Air Force 14.5, 46.5. Nothing new. Washington, look for them today. 26, 60.5 against the Z team. Stanford, after a bad week last week. Go Huskies, beat Army. Troy, 6.5, 53.5. Nothing there. Texas State, over team, beat Baylor. The prime of the week, we got UCLA 15.5, 60 against the primer. The question is, we know UCLA is going to score 40, but they have a great defense. So the question is, are they going to is Colorado going to do an Oregon on us, or are they going to do a better score? So we'll see. But it's a 60. I don't think UCLA is going to run it down their throat, but I'm hoping Colorado learned from Oregon and can at least put up 14 points for us. That would be nice of Coach Prime. Ohio State, 14.5, 46.5. And the Wisconsin quarterback, Mordecai, broke his hand. He's out. Wisconsin's playing that tough D. Wisconsin with the tough D. You figure that out. Hey, Greg and John. What's going on? Just going through the lines, and we'll look at some injuries if there is. Ole Miss 24-63. North Carolina 11.5, 64.5. James Madison 20.5, 48.5. They're a really good team. I was looking at their stats. This is a strong team. 20-48. Old Dominion's not that bad, but James Madison, good quarterback. Washington State 5.5, 49.5 against Arizona State. Again, a lot of injuries on Arizona State. Oklahoma State 7.5 and 52.5. Oklahoma State's been playing really well the last 3 weeks. Played K-State. They beat K-State, Kansas, and West Virginia, and they found their quarterback. So I know somebody got on me for their quarterback. Yeah, but it wasn't Bowman. So then they switched to Bowman, the guy from Texas Tech, I believe. They're lighting it up. So look for Oak State. Fresno State 8.5, 56.5. This is up from 7.5. My bet would be Mikey Keene's playing. Let's see, because Mikey Keene's their starting quarterback was questionable. And let's see. No injuries. Well, we'll have to check the other one. Obviously, Mikey Keene was injured, so he's now probable, I guess. Oregon State. This is a very interesting game. 3.5 to Arizona. And what did I take here? This should be a very good game. Arizona, I don't think, should be the dog here. They just beat Washington State 44-7. They played Washington 31-24. And they played USC to a 28-all tie that had to go to overtime. So this is a very underrated team, very strong defense. And the backup quarterback's been playing. He's looked pretty good. Nevada, New Mexico is 1.5 and 49.5 to Nevada. Nevada's the Z team. New Mexico is an over team. This should be a lot of points, I believe, in this game. And San Jose State 10.5, 58.5. This is your 10 p.m. game. We know one team gives up 36, one gives up 31. So you can take it from there. Okay, let's do this Tennessee one. So I'm going to show you how to analyze. So I go into Kentucky. Now I got Kentucky as a B team that gives up 24. That's not true. When I look at Kentucky, So we got to throw out. I basically threw out the bottom 3 games. So I threw out Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, and Akron because those are weak teams. So I threw out those 3 because there's they're throwing off the thing. So then I looked at the last 4, which are conference: Vanderbilt, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, and then I find Kentucky scores 70. So they're scoring about 27 a game, and then they give up. Well, shit, they gave up 51 to Georgia. So they gave up, let's just 30, 45, 95, and 40, 135. They're giving up, divide by 4. They're giving up over 30 a game, right? A 38, a 51, a 28, and a 14. So I don't know, that's 90. That's Georgia and Missouri's 90. And I got them down as an under team at a 24, but they're not an under team at a 24. So now that we've got like 4 games in conference, that's what you really want to look at, because they're not playing Akron and Ball State and Eastern Kentucky. So now we see how they really are, and they're really, this out here. So we've got 34 and 33 is 67, and 45, like 117 divided by 30 is 120. So they're like a 28 offense, and the defense is 28 and 42. 93 and 40 is 133. So we'll call them 131. Divided by 4. 4 goes into 13 3 times. I do the old math. 11, 30. They're at 28, 33. So they're a over team by far, not an under team. So when you look at this game, you got Tennessee 3.5, 20. Well, now let's look at Tennessee to see what they are. So we now know that Kentucky is a over defense 33 in conference. Now we look at Tennessee and we do the same thing. They had the Virginia, Austin Peay, forget it. Florida, UTSA, South Carolina. So we'll include UTSA. They're a pretty good team. And Tennessee puts up 45 on UTSA, 41 on South Carolina. And then against the really strong defenses, A&M and Alabama put up 20. So there's almost the Alabama's score, and then there's the other score. So when we look at them, who are they playing? Or the A&M game? But no, that's not right. I froze up. Okay, I'm back. So, but they're not playing an Alabama A&M defense like I thought with Kentucky. They're playing the South Carolina, UTSA, Florida defense, Virginia defense. So against Virginia, 49, 16 on Florida, 45 on UTSA, 41 on South Carolina. And they still put up 20 on Alabama, which is good. And it should have been more. They had the ball first and goal twice and kicked field goals. So that really could have been 28. So we look at the over-under here. It's 50, what is it? 50 something. It's 51 and a half. So 51. Well, now we see, wait a minute, Kentucky's a 33 defense in conference, and they gave up 51 to Georgia, which Georgia doesn't score that much. And then here's Tennessee, an A team, put up 20 points on Alabama and A&M, have a very good defense. So now it turns into, well, I can either take Tennessee or I can go over. I had under circled at first. So I was going to, okay, Kentucky with a good defense. But when you dig into it, they don't have a good defense, especially against Tennessee. They're not going to have a good defense. So this is how you microeconomics these games. So macro is the whole schedule, right? They give up 24 when you include Kent State and Akron and a high school team. But against good teams, and you got them against Tennessee, are they really going to be a 24 defense? No, they're going to be a 30 defense. Look for Tennessee to put up 40 points in the game. Kentucky's at home. So I see Tennessee winning and or for sure going over. Kentucky, Kentucky's a 28. So I've went from an under 57 to an over 45. And this is an easy over 45 because Kentucky doesn't stop anything. Kentucky gives up 33. Tennessee can score, they moved on Alabama. If you can move on Alabama, you're going to move on Kentucky. I know Tennessee's a road favorite, so maybe you lay away from that. But the over now looks like, fuck, this is nothing, 45 in this game. So it's just a little piece of, let's see, Tennessee's. Oh, yeah, we said against the weaker teams, they put up 40. So, again, this should be a 70-point game, and we're looking at a 51 because Vegas looks at the whole world, and this is why we're smarter than Vegas. This is why we're the smartest people in the room, is because this is how we analyze it. So Vegas should have this as a 60. It's a 51. We go over 45 is a fucking joke in this game. So remind me to play it. So this is a 7:00 game. So we will play it at 7, but before 7. But this is a fucking joke. But this is how wrong Vegas is because they look. Do you think they're looking at just the SEC? Apparently not. They're looking. How did they come up with the 51? Because Kentucky's a 24 and Tennessee's a 20, but they're not really. Against a team like Kentucky, Tennessee's going to score 40 points. Kentucky 28, that's 68. We need 45. All right. This isn't even one of the locks. This is one I just found because I wasn't sure if Kentucky was really that strong under like they usually are. And then I'm saying they gave up 50 points to Georgia. So here's where you learn. Georgia doesn't score a lot. Georgia wins 35-10. That's why we bet them under all the time. And then all of a sudden they put up 51 on Kentucky, and you're going, well, I thought Kentucky had a good defense. But then you see they gave up 40 here and 38 there. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute, they don't. So I'll make a note of it in my stats that Kentucky is really a 33 defense, not a 24. Look at the difference. That's 9 points more they give up in conference than out of conference. That's what we're looking for. So I got to start doing that. We should have enough games in. Now, like Oregon, Utah, I don't need to do that. We can keep. We keep an eye on the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Michigans, the Ohio State. I don't need to do that. But in this case, Tennessee, Kentucky, we saw Tennessee, A&M, Tennessee, and Alabama. They both have very good defenses, but that's what I'm saying. So I would have thought, well, this should go under because Kentucky's got a good defense, but they don't. And so that really, now it's Tennessee against Vanderbilt, and now it's a very – Tennessee, I mean, they moved the ball in Alabama, until they pissed them off by scoring. But so we'll give Kentucky some credit because it's at home, but Tennessee's now off of they beat A&M and then they lose to Alabama. And even that game was 34-20. They were able to score another touchdown. Milton is running, so he's not a great passer, but he's a good runner. from Michigan. So he's not bad. He'll get us points tonight. Kentucky will get points. Yeah. So again, if it was a strong defense, Kentucky, I wouldn't go. I would just probably really, I didn't play the game. But once I discovered this, then it turns into an easy over that probably in the third quarter we'll have hit it. So again, the number's low, 51. This should be a 65, and we'd be like, well, I don't know. 51 on this. This is like last year or 2 years. This is 2 years ago when Miami and Utah were 49s and 50s, and they had all of a sudden Rising and Van Dyke come on, and Van Dyke in Miami was scoring 45 points a game on his own. And the line stepped 49-50 Miami because they're looking at the first 3 or 4 games with the Eric King, not the Van Dyke game. So once you segregated out the Eric King game for the Van Dyke games, Miami's playing 65-point games, and the over-under on all of them were 48. I mean, that was like picking cherries 2 years ago. Oh, Rising over, Van Dyke over, Georgia under. I mean, it was the easiest thing to do. But that's what I'm really good at is spotting the plays. That's what I do best. It's when they don't make sense. Like at my job, there was a $4 million error, and I'm looking at the financial statements. I'm analyzing. And why are we getting a $4 million hit? So I brought that to the controller's attention, and she moved it out. Yep, it's not your charge. That's what I do. Something strange that I see, that's what I do. So that's what I'm looking at. But like today, Colorado, I don't forget the Oregon game. And this is a pretty strong defense in UCLA. So I'm very, very careful here. It's a 60 over under. But UCLA, I mean, they played a high-scoring game with Washington State and Oregon State. Low-scoring with Utah, as we would expect with 2 great defenses. So we will see, but I don't forget the Colorado-Oregon 42-6 game. All right, so those are your lines. It's 10:43, so there you go. Let's look at injuries. Now, before I leave, I'm looking at the Niners and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is supposedly in concussion protocol. And now I'm like, questionable Sunday concussion. He's practicing, but he's got a clear concussion protocol. So I don't know what to do with this game. I thought he was out, so I like Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. But now if he plays, the only guy I know that's out, Trent Williams, questionable with an ankle. Deebo Samuel is out, but I don't see McCaffrey on here. So I got to be careful because the Niners have lost 2 in a row. I do like Joe Burrow. Right now it's 4.5. You get 10.5 in Cincinnati. But you got to be careful. That was based on Purdy being in concussion protocol and not playing. So until we hear that, if he does play, then I got to be careful with the game. That's all I'm saying. I don't really want to bet against the Niners, but the only one I will bet against them with is Mahomes or Burrow. That's it. Not the Philadelphia Madoffs. So be careful with that. And was there another? So there's some injuries that we need to look at, but right now it's college. We'll look at those tomorrow. So I'm going to go just look at Keelan. Now, I don't understand Air Force. They have no injuries. The quarterback I thought was out with an ankle, but I think he played last week. He's not listed on the injury list. Air Force is laying, what's this, 11.5 to Colorado State. So I don't see anything there. Akron's quarterback's been out for a while. Irons, they suck. Alabama's clean. Arizona, their starting quarterback's been out for a while. He's actually questionable today, but the backup's been fine. So I be careful. They have a very strong defense. Arizona's defense is a 20. So be careful. They're a very good defensive team. And they, again, took USC 28-28 into overtime. So I remember that box score, and I go, what happened to USC? And then I looked. The first 4 times they had the ball, three plays and punt against Arizona. So pretty good fucking defense. Arizona State's a mystery. Pine, the quarterback's questionable. They got a running back questionable. Rashada, quarterback's out. They had a third quarterback listed, but now he's, I guess, healthy enough to play. So it's been a real hard game to pick is Arizona State with all their injuries. Arkansas is pretty clean. Army quarterback Daly's questionable, but judging by this line, they're laying 10 to UMass, I believe. Yeah, UMass, they give up 42 defense. And again, how they beat our New Mexico State, I can't believe it. But what's funny is like New Mexico State this week, they beat Louisiana Tech, who's a much better team than UMass, 27-24. It just pisses me off. The one game, this is what's getting frustrating. The one, I'm dead on the team. We lock them week 1 against UMass. UMass sucks, and UMass is what are they? They're a W team. They give up 42 a game. If they were to play them again, New Mexico State would kill them. But week 1, and you got to be careful of these week 1s in pro and college, and they lose, and that's and they've won all these other games. And L-Tech's a pretty good team, or much better than UMass. So it's just frustrating, but you gotta forget it. And if it's a good bet, you bet them. Like here, they were getting 3.5. That was a good bet for New Mexico State. They're a B team. Their defense gives up 21. It was just the turnovers. So when you lose a bet, and it's usually because of turnovers. So again, we're not Madoff, so we don't bet the game after. We bet the game before, and if we lose it, if it goes according to Hoyle, we win it. Michigan State last week had Michigan over 40. Went according to Hoyle. The quarterback didn't get injured. They win 49-0. We win over 40. It's the turnovers. Had Michigan went for it on 4th down at the Michigan State 5 and didn't get it twice, and Michigan State drives down and throws an interception in the end zone, you don't get your over. But they drove down to the 5. That was the Ohio State Notre Dame game. Ohio State, 4th and goal at the 1, 4th and goal at the 10. Notre Dame had it 4th and goal at the 19, and nothing. So that's what made the under is the stupid going for it on 4th down. And running it up the middle and wondering why you didn't get it. I mean, that's really the problem. So we've got really bad coaches, it looks like, but that's really what you've got to. You can't get. The point is, don't get mad at New Mexico State because they threw 3 picks against UMass and didn't win the game, and therefore I'm not betting them the rest of the year. You've got to wipe all that out. It's like poker. What do you got? The pocket aces, and the guy hits 3 7s on you. You're not going to play pocket aces again? Really? Then you can't play. If you can't play pocket aces, you probably shouldn't be at the table. So that's kind of the similar thing. All right. So Army, the quarterback's questionable. Auburn, nothing. Ball State, wide receivers out. Who cares? Baylor, nothing. Boise, a lot of questionables. So really, they're fine. BC's fine. Bowling Green has no players, so there's no injuries. BYU, I don't see a reason Texas is 20 points over BYU here. Texas's quarterback's out. BYU's very healthy. A linebacker's out, a safety's out, and a running back's out. Besides that, they're fine. Buffalo's fine. Cal, who are against USC, so they got 3 questionables. Out are a defensive lineman and 3 running backs, but not the running back. Odd is the star running back, and he's healthy. Now, how many running backs does a team have? And they've got 3 out for the season, all October 3rd. Good quarterback, the backup. They put him in. He looks good because Cal was sucked in the beginning, but they're much better now. And they like I said, the Oregon State game was I think 52-44 or something like that. I mean, they can score, and we all know USC can't stop a high school team. So with that said, this game should be high, but we're not really missing anything for Cal. I mean, it's just a couple of running backs. We don't even know if they're starters or not. That's the thing in college. You got big rosters, so it says running backs. But that's why I know Ott's the key running back, and I see his name, so I'm not worried. UCF's fine. Charlotte, I think, played yesterday. Got killed. Cincinnati, nothing. Clemson, they get so many injuries. Safety out, wide receiver out, O-lineman out. The UT is out. UT. What is the UT? Undersized tackle? And what the fuck is that? D lineman out, wide receiver. What is UT? All right. Coastal Carolina, McCall, doubtful with the concussion. Oh, okay. So it's not. I thought he had surgery. It must have been the Texas guy. So he's doubtful with the concussion, which means he probably won't play. He'll play next. So we know we got him next week back. Colorado, Deion is going to play because they know they need the help. Colorado State, 1 running back's questionable, 2 are out, and the backup quarterback's out. They've been scoring a lot of points, but I got to check on these running backs, which I'll probably do today while I'm watching, and just verify again, we don't know if it's the star running back. You know, the star running back, well, Alabama doesn't have one. Georgia, I don't think has. I think they have 1, but they always have 4 or 5, Georgia. We know Brock Bowers is out, so that's what you keep. So when I see Cade Johnson, I don't know if he's any good. Connecticut, quarterback's out for the season. Fagnano, he's been out since September. They're pretty bad. Duke, Riley Leonard, it says questionable with an ankle, but it says Sunday, October 22nd. So I don't know. The Duke line has gone from 4.5 to 6.5. So I know Nick was asking, and you guys got to check your injuries. So either listen when I'm saying it or just go to Covers. I'm on covers.com, and there's pro and there's college. So does Riley Leonard's questionable with the line went from 4.5 to 6.5, which makes me think maybe he's not playing or whatever. We will see. East Car, they're pretty healthy. Eastern Michigan's fine. Florida. So we got the Florida-Georgia game. Tight end out with a concussion Jay Odom. We don't know if he's good, bad, or ugly. Douglas, the wide receiver, is out with the leg. We got an offensive lineman out. We got a tight end out. We got a quarterback who's the backup. Miller is out. We got a wide receiver out. We got a running back is out, and a defensive lineman who was out in August. So what do these things have in common? Most of them are offensive. So meaning they'll probably not score a lot because they've got a lot of offensive players out. Georgia will get a little nervous for this game. It's the big at the Gator Bowl. Look for this. Look for Georgia to be full on today, and the defense will be rough. And then you got Georgia without Brock Bowers has got to hurt their scoring. It's got to, because they were throwing him the ball a lot. This quarterback was using Brock Bowers. It's like they had a new offense where it was throw the ball at a tight end. With Stenson Benson, they didn't do it that much. Here they are, so look for that. Florida Atlantic, Casey Thompson, the quarterback's out. They've been using the backup. He's been out since September. So they kicked ass yesterday. So the backup's not too bad. Florida State, I don't know, are they even, yeah, they're playing tonight. Wake Forest. Two receivers are questionable. The backup quarterback, Glenn, I never heard of him's out, and a defensive lineman's been out since August. So really, they're very healthy, Florida State. Well-coached team. Fresno State, Mikey Keene's questionable. Looking at the line, though, it jumped to 9.5 from 8.5. Tells me he's playing. So keep an eye. This is a 10 o'clock game. Vegas is a very good team. So Vegas is a over team. Fresno State's an A team. With Mikey Keene, and this over is 56, you can probably get over on it. Because I see Vegas being able to score on him. Without Mikey Keene, then you might want to take Vegas in the 15. We got to see how the backup is. But I think I'd rather have Mikey Keene playing and go over. So we'll find that out. Georgia, not as bad as they've been. They got a DL out with the foot, linebacker out, running back. Running back. One running back's out. O-lineman out. Brock Bowers out. And that's it. So Milton, the running back, and Robinson are both probable today. And so they lost the DL and the lineman. With the problem with Georgia, they got so much depth in their defense that it doesn't really matter if they're, unless they're the star. Like, that's why against LSU and Ohio State last year, they let up points as their top two defensive back, like Nakobe Dean and the big guy who got drafted, on Philadelphia, they were kind of injured for the LSU and Ohio State games, and then I guess they came back for the TCU game. Georgia Sutton, I think they already played. Georgia Tech, 4 wide receivers, 2 are out, 2 are questionable. They're okay. Hawaii's fine. Houston, they lost the receiver and a DB and a running back, so not too bad. Illinois lost 1 running back, some defense. They've lost a lot of defense, 2 DBs and a linebacker. That's why they've not been as strong defensively with Humpty Dumpty as their coach. Indiana, let's see, they got let's see. They're pretty healthy. They got a couple of questionables, but otherwise they're fine. Iowa. Is Iowa playing today? I don't think they are, so I'm going to pass them. Iowa State's fine. Kansas is fine. Daniels, their starting quarterback's doubtful with the back, but I like Bean better. He's a better thrower. Daniels is a better runner, and there you go. The running quarterback that's hurt again. When will they learn? So, but that's it. That's all. They got 1 guy out, and they got Bean, the quarterback. Look for them to give Oklahoma all they want. Kansas will play to win and could easily win this game. Oklahoma seems to be better at home, but I think Kansas gives them all they want. Over, under, probably an over. We'll see. But I think Kansas is going to give them. Kansas State, Receivers are questionable. Tight ends probable. They've lost 2 linebackers, which hurt. They're a strong defensive team usually. Ken's fine. The Kentucky game, offensive linemen out for Kentucky. 2 running backs out in September, so they're okay. Liberty, LSU, Bobby's team, I don't think they played. L-Tech, I think they've already played. Yeah, they already played. Louisville, they got a big game with Duke. Offensive lineman out for the season. Your running back's got a hamstring. Jordan, is he any good? I don't know. So really, they're really relatively healthy for this game. Marshall, fine. Maryland, nothing major. UMass, quarterback Davis is questionable, but I don't even know who. I don't think he's the starter. Memphis, 2 kickers. Their injuries are 2 kickers. Unbelievable. Miami, Tyler Van Dyke, probable with the leg. He missed last week. They read it down Clemson's throat like I've never seen. And then, so he's probable. So the line is 20 again. Yeah, 18 over Virginia, who just beat North Carolina. So this is the problem when you bet offense. You bet North Carolina and the quarterback throws three interceptions, you lose. But if you got the defense, you bet Georgia, the defense comes, they can't turn the ball over. They're playing defense. So look for them. So here you got Van Dyke, running backs out. Parrish is their good running back. It's questionable, but I'm sure he'll play. Miami of Ohio, Gabbert is out. So I caught that, which is critical for today's game with Ohio. Miami's a pretty good team, but without the quarterback, first 1 to 10 wins. Michigan's off this week. Michigan State. I've never seen such a long list of injuries in my life. I think they're totally out of control. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15. There's 15 guys out. A lot of them are out undisclosed. I don't even know if they're in. Yeah, it says out knee. You got guys that are out undisclosed. What does that mean? They walked off the team that injured? I mean, I know it'd be hard if it's like when you lose your boss at work and you get another boss and you don't like the boss. But this is, how do you bet this team? Whew. And they got killed by Michigan 42-0. Middle Tennessee's okay. Minnesota, who was 7 points over Michigan State, has a pretty long list too. Question. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 outs, 3 linebackers. This is why Minnesota's not as strong defensively as they usually are. Usually they're a good under team. But when you lose 3 linebackers in a DL, I'm sure a couple of linebackers are probably starters. So that had to hurt them. Old Miss is fine. Old Mississippi State. Will Rogers is questionable with his arm, and they are playing Auburn. And where's that game? Auburn is 7 over Old Mississippi State. So I would say Rogers isn't playing. That's a pretty high number. If he is playing, you could take Mississippi State there, but I don't know. Missouri's pretty healthy. NC State's fine. Nebraska. The quarterback, I think they just don't want to play him. He's been questionable with an ankle for 8 weeks now, this Sims guy who sucked in the beginning. Nevada, fairly healthy. New Mexico State. North Carolina. They got 2 kickers that are questionable. Nothing major. Northwestern, their quarterback's questionable with an upper body. I don't know if they're playing Notre Dame. Wide receiver and a tight end were out since August, so that's nothing new. And the punter, so who cares? So they're healthy. Ohio State. Henderson, the running back, is probable today. Let's see, a bunch of questionables. Running back out. Okay, they got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've got 10 guys out. 4 wide receivers are out. And it's still not like Harrison and the other guy. So, and 2 tight ends. So you can see what their problem is, why they're not scoring a lot, and then they're just playing strong defense. Hey, Eric. Oklahoma. Let's see. We got Oklahoma. Tight end out. Wide receiver out. Another tight end out. A DB out. Another DB out. A linebacker out. They got a lot of injuries. And 4 of them are October injuries. So be careful of them getting hurt. Oak State, very healthy. Old D, fine. Oregon in the big game against Utah. A kicker's out, and a running back and a wide receiver. But Irving, their big running back, is probable with an undisclosed, whatever that means. Oregon State is fine. Penn State, they're 31 over freaking Indiana. How do you lay 31 in the Big Ten? Questionables out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys out for Penn State. Running back, they're all like a defensive tackle, a defensive end, a safety, a linebacker, an O lineman. There's like every position they're one short on. So it's like I'm noticing in the Big Ten, Michigan State has 10, 12 guys out. Wisconsin, the whole fucking team's out. Here's Penn State with 10 guys out. I don't know what it is. Pitt's fine. Purdue, most part okay. Rice, no injuries are right. Rice knows how to train for football. There's no injuries. San Diego State, no injuries. San Jose State is nothing. The injuries are dated, so it says September 25th. So they've already played a month without these guys, so that's fine. South Carolina, wide receiver out. So that's going to hurt them, and they're playing, like I said, South Car is playing they played Missouri last week. Who they play? I made a comment on them. They're playing Texas A&M. A&M 16. Great defense, as we saw against Alabama. They look pretty good. And so they got their two wide receivers out, which are probably starters. And then they've got 2 O-linemen out. You don't want O-linemen out against A&M and 2 wide receivers. I got a feeling A&M pounds them today. South Carolina gives up 32 on defense. Macro, again. I'll have to go through this just in conference. I'll have to figure out how, because it's going to be time consuming. But basically, on the littler teams, I'll know Michigan and Ohio State and those guys. But I care. So A&M. So here, South Carolina gives up 32. They probably are giving up 40 because you got to throw out the high school games when they shut out the other team. South Florida, they're fine. USC, nothing. Defensive lineman, that's it, which is good because we're going over on the game. SMU, Southern Miss, Stanford, nothing. Syracuse, Temple. Their quarterback's questionable, but I don't think they play today. Tennessee plays Kentucky, so they got a defensive back out. They got a running back out. They got a defensive back out. You got a wide receiver out and 2 linebackers out for Tennessee. So this should be a pretty high-scoring game then. A lot of defense. So when you look at the injuries, and like here at Tennessee, 2 DBs out and 2 linebackers are out. So you want to bet the game over, and you go, great, I got 4 defensive guys out. I don't know if they're starters or reserves, but it definitely hurts the rotation in the defense. So that's exactly what you want in an over game. Texas, Ewers out with it's a shoulder injury, so he's out indefinitely. And we've got an O lineman. Was this Johnny Majors' son? It's Jay Majors, offensive lineman. Johnny Majors used to coach Texas in the 60s or 70s or something like that. Then he went on to Pitt, I think. Couple of questions. Yeah, so they've got the quarterback out and nothing really else, an O lineman, but we'll see. A&M starting quarterback's out. We know we've seen the backup against Alabama. He looks pretty fucking good. So they're fine. TCU, Chad Morris, their starter, is out till mid-November with a knee. They don't play today, but just keep that in your mind. So Texas doesn't have a quarterback. TCU doesn't have a quarterback. Kansas, their starter's out, but their backup's better. So not a problem betting on Kansas. Texas State, nothing. Texas Tech, their quarterback's probable Morton. Is then for Shaw. So Shaw's out with a leg injury. He's more of a running quarterback. And Morton is the backup. He's probable. So I think it says here Thursday. So I guess they're playing Thursday. Probably played Texas or one of those big names. UTSA's fine. Toledo's fine. Troy's fine. Tulane is fine. Tulsa is fine. UAB, the quarterback Zeno is questionable with an undisclosed. They got a good offense. He's a good quarterback. So if he's out, but it says questionable. And they play November 4th, so they play next Friday. UCLA's fine. Lou Lafayette, like I said, Woolridge, their quarterback's out with a foot, but he's been out since September. So, if they're looking good, they're fine. UL Monroe, their quarterback, Hearing, broke his collarbone October 6th, so he's out, but I don't know if he was their starter or not. Once you get to Lou Monroe, it doesn't really matter. They're all so bad. Utah, Rising out for the season because the fucking doctor won't approve them. So my strategy is to go get the team doctor from Utah and BYU, the orthopedic surgeon, have him look at the knee, say, would you let him play or not? If they say yes, I would sue that doctor from the Rams who keeps fucking around with them. He'll wait till a game time decision. What the fuck? We need to practice. So the coach had enough of it, and he says we're just going to go as if he's injured, and they're giving all the reps to the backup, and he looks pretty good. I feel pretty good that they can beat Oregon today. And again, they got a fucking Georgia defense. They got a 15 defense, and they just lit up UCLA. They beat UCLA 14-7. And then we saw the USC game. They didn't really hold them down, but they now their offense. Well, it's hard to say their offense is coming because it was USC, but give them credit for going to LA and beating USC. So they can definitely. They just saw USC, so Oregon's not going to be a big deal. Very strong defense, especially at home. I would be scared if Oregon was at Oregon. I'd back off. Games at Utah. I think Utah wins. Too much defense. And you're in the mountains. Who's Colorado playing? UCLA. And that spread is UCLA 15.5, 60. 60 over under. When I say that, it's UCLA 15 is the spread, 60 is the total. And I'd be very careful because UCLA's got a 15 defense, just like Utah. And they haven't played Utah yet. look out when they play Utah. They probably won't score. Let's see. Vanderbilt, Swan, their quarterback's got an elbow. 3 wide receivers are out. They're a mess, Vanderbilt. Virginia, nothing major. Just some normal injuries. VTech, their quarterback's out. Wells, he came from Marshall. 2 wide receivers are out. Wake Forest, Mitch Griffiths, the quarterback's questionable today. I assume he plays. They're not a very good. They're okay. They're nothing special. Washington, defensive lineman out, defensive end out, O-lineman out, running back out. The last 2 are out since August, so they don't count because they've been winning without them. And then the defensive end was September 25th. He's nothing major. The defensive lineman, October 2nd. So these 2 new ones, these 2 wide receivers are October 22nd and 3rd, but one's questionable, one's probable. So really they're fine. Washington State, running back out, Payne. Jenkins, running back, was suspended, can play. And that's really it. They got a defensive tackle and a defensive out since September. So they're pretty healthy, I would say. And where's my Cam Ward guy who thought he was the best quarterback in the country playing against Oregon State? And where's my prime time? My prime junior's going to win the Heisman. Wait till they play the big games and they don't show up. Then that's what I get the big money. West Virginia. They look pretty healthy. An old lineman's questionable and a wide receiver's doubtful. And I looked, and he's one of their starting wide receivers. I checked that out. Western Kentucky, nothing. What's an long snapper? Jesus Christ. That's all he does. Western, nothing. Wisconsin. How many guys are out for Wisconsin? Let's see. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They don't have an injury list. They got 14 guys out. 14 fucking guys out. 4 wide receivers. Mordecai's out. Another wide receiver. What's this spread? Ohio State is 14 and 47. What's Wisconsin going to do? Their whole team's out. And Wyoming's fine. Okay, so those are your injuries. Again, let's go to the NFL injuries. We're just going to look at a few that are let's see. Buffalo already played. Carolina, they don't have anybody that if they got injured would make a difference. They're the worst team in the league now that the Bears found the grocery store guy. The grocery clerk's leading them. Fields is out till mid-November. Watch him come back. He better come back soon or he won't have a job. He can't score. And this guy, you got a guy who's in lane 7 packing meat, and he's lighting it up. Granted, it was against Oakland, but still. Well, I don't know. It says he's questionable, but he's in concussion protocol. So I don't understand that. I doubt he's going to be able to play because this happened Monday night. So the timing is he probably won't, but I'm seeing questionable. So without him, I definitely have Cincinnati if he's out because they don't come out of concussion protocol in a week. Cincinnati is very healthy. That's good. Cleveland. Deshaun Watson's out. So I believe we're getting Kareem Hunt's questionable. So I believe in the Cleveland game with Watson out, we're going to be getting P.J. Walker, who's not bad. I don't mind P.J. Walker. He's better than Watson. Watson 5 years ago, but now Watson now, you can't sit out pro football or for that matter, anything for 2 years and think you're just going to come back at the same level. It's not going to happen. Waste of money for Cleveland, this guy. Kareem Hunt's questionable with the thigh. Jacoby Ford, running back, is out till Nick Chubb's out. A lot of problems in Cleveland. Dallas, as long as Micah Parsons isn't hurt, I'm a happy camper there. Denver, this is a big game with Kansas City. No, I don't see Russell Wilson out, and you got Sean Payton. Detroit, Montgomery's out with ribs. That's why he left Cleveland, Chicago, because he always was injured. He never played. So Detroit picks him up, and he's always injured. It's a great pickup. And the ironic part is the guy who went to New Orleans, who scored all those touchdowns last year, he's been injured with a hamstring for 6 weeks. Green Bay, well, they don't have any. Okay, here we go. Green Bay, Aaron Jones, our stud running back, is probable with the hamstring. Now we're going to see that line change. So Green Bay was 2.5. Minnesota beats the Niners Monday night, and they go to favorite. So now Minnesota's a 1.5. But now we got Adam Jones back for Green Bay. That is going to be huge. I was going to play that game under, but now it turns into an over. Interesting. I love Minnesota as the dog, but not as the favorite. Can't trust Kirk Cousins. That's the problem. Minnesota's an over team. Kirk Cousins throws 3 interceptions, you're fucked. But if you bet the defensive team, like Baltimore's a 14, you can bet them as long as Lamar doesn't throw 3 picks, the defense will come. So Green Bay, the problem with Green Bay is Love stinks. Houston, nothing. There's so many injuries. Indy. We know Richardson's out and Minshew's not on here, so that's good. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence is questionable with the knee, but he was that last week and he played, so I don't buy it. I ain't smelling what he's cooking. Questionable, a lot of questionables. They play games. They're Kansas City. Bolton, the linebacker's out. They look very healthy, Kansas City. I don't see Mahomes or Kelsey on here. San Diego, Jesus Christ, what a incredibly bad coach they have. They're all, except for Mike Williams, they're very healthy, San Diego. I don't even see Boza. For the first time, I don't see Boza on the injured list. The Rams, couple of running backs I never heard of are out. They're pretty healthy, too. I don't see Aaron Donald, so that's a good sign. Oakland, Max Crosby now is on the list. He wasn't on it because I was checking, and now he's questionable with the knee. Usually questionable doesn't mean anything. It's just a note. Garoppolo's probable with the back. One of you guys told me he was out and not coming back, so don't do that. Probable with the back. That's it. Although it's the Lions, so we'll see. Miami, Waddle, probable, very happy. Mozart, probable, very happy. Tyreek Hill, probable. So those were all doubtful questionables. Now they're all playing, which means score will be very high in that game. Yeah, over under 46. Now, will Mac Jones put up some numbers like he did against Buffalo? So we don't need much because we're going to get 40 from Miami in the game. That's a low in a teaser. That's such a low number, 40 in a Miami game because they score 40. They score like 30-something every game. Minnesota. Jefferson's out, we know. The Giants. Jones is out Sunday, so we get Tyrod Taylor. The Tyrodder. Interesting. Okay. Barkley's probable. Jones is out with the neck. Waller's questionable with the hamstring. Thibodeau's questionable with the knee. And they play my Jets, Jets, which is Gardner. Sauce Gardner's probable. That's good. A lot of, okay, questionable with the hamstring. And Aaron Rodgers is still out. I think he might come back if they make the playoffs. He looks like he's throwing on the sidelines. I don't know. I don't know how bad an Achilles. Is there different, really bad, not too bad, or is it just you snap the tendon, you're screwed? New England. We're hoping for a lot of defensive injuries. Well, we don't want too many injuries. We need their offense to score. Curtis Strange went from golf to offensive line. A lot of questionables, and a lot of outs. But the outs have been there. New Orleans, Kamara's probable. Jimmy Graham, tight end, questionable. Tyrone Matthew, the Honey Badger, questionable. Philadelphia, Madoffs. Hurts is probable with the knee. Gee, I wonder if he got hurt on that illegal play that they run. Pittsburgh, fairly healthy. Just Freiermuth's really the only one out. The Niners, Scott Purdy is questionable Sunday concussion. We know he's in concussion protocol, which normally you don't get out the first week. So I don't know why he's questionable, why he's not out. I guess we'll find out maybe today or tomorrow. We'll find out. It's a good game against Cincinnati. Frisco's lost 2 in a row, but Deebo Samuel's out. So if Purdy's out too, this should be a close game. If it's not Purdy and it's Darnold, then we like Cincinnati a whole lot. Kenny McIntosh, I thought was going to play. He's not. So Seattle, Walker, the running back's questionable. Adams, the safety's questionable with the knee. Charbonneau's probable, the running back. Lockett, questionable. Metcalf, questionable. So Seattle's got problems. They're playing Cleveland. We got to see about these injuries. It's funny. Earlier in the week, they're not even on here. Metcalf wasn't on here. Now, or Moncrief, and now all of a sudden he's on here. These guys are monkeying around. Tampa's already played. Tennessee, Tannehill's out. Ooh, okay. Tannehill's out for Tennessee. So they're going to go with Malik Willis. Oh, my God. Against the Riddler. Yeah, the over-under is 36. It's still too high. Wow. Let's see. Is Henry listed? Well, they're in trouble if Willis starts running around and gets hurt because Levis is also out with a quad. I don't know how he got hurt. He doesn't play. And so you don't have Tannehill with an ankle and you don't have that. What are you going to do if Willis, who likes to run, gets hurt, especially against Atlanta? They'll knock him out. Interesting. All right. And then Washington, they have no players. Oh, no. Oh, so we got They got a guard and a linebacker out who I've never heard of. And this is why they suck. I have not heard any of these players. Wow. All right. So all right. So we've covered the line in college. We didn't really cover the line in pro because we'll wait for tomorrow unless there's a game you want to do. I don't know, Greg. I don't think he can get out of a concussion protocol. If it was another injury and he's questionable, I'd say it, but I don't think it's kind of because of the lawsuit from that stupid movie that I think he probably won't play. Denver doesn't suck. You've got to realize when you get a new coach, especially like a Sean Payton, he's got to learn the players. He's had injuries to his players, especially on defense. Russell Wilson looks very good. Their offense looks very good. If you notice, Judy doesn't have the hamstring injury anymore. All of a sudden, he's playing. You get a guy like Sean Payton, the injuries aren't as severe. So they have a pretty good offense with Russell Wilson, Judy. They're running the ball pretty well. So offensively, he's an offensive guru, Sean Payton. The defense has had injuries, and it's skewed by the 70-point game against Miami. Since then, they played like a 19-17 game to the Packers, who, okay, they're not very good, and a couple others. So keep that in mind that they're getting better because the coach, he hasn't been there 5 years. We know what he did at New Orleans. We know he won a Super Bowl, so I'm not worried, but you got to give him time to get better, and they seem to be getting better. They're getting guys back. So I think KC wins the game. Like, you can tease it down to 1. I don't see how Denver beats them. I think they can keep the game close. I don't see how they beat them. So we will see there. Now, keep in mind, KC's got a very strong defense. You don't understand or realize they do, but they do. Like, you think, that's Mahomes and Kelsey. They're going to score 50 points. And da-da-da. They don't do that anymore. I mean, KC scores where's that game? They're an A team, so they score upper 20s, but they give up 15 a game. They're not an over team anymore. So this is why in the pros, I don't have to do as much statting as I just showed you on the Tennessee-Kentucky game. You don't have to do that much. You kind of know your team pretty much by now. And a lot of it's based on the quarterbacks. Like, there's no way anytime Jordan Love of Green Bay's favored, I'm betting against him. The guy is a bust. Well, he's not even a bust. I don't know how he got drafted in the first round. Whoever did that should be fired. I don't know what you're looking at to draft this guy in the first round. I don't mind PJ Walker, Smith. Well, let's not go there. And now I'm afraid of the grocery clerk from Chicago. This should be an automatic take San Diego down to 2.5. I'm scared of the grocery clerk. He put up 30 points on Oakland. He looked pretty good. He ran out of the pocket. He hit guys. Not what Fields does. He didn't look to run. And now you're playing with you're playing with your rooks and your bishops, and all of a sudden you're a better team. So I don't know that San Diego's just going to kill Chicago, of which they should. But he didn't look. I watched the highlights of the Oakland game, and he looked like he knew what he was doing. I'm sure the San Diego coach will make things easy for him. All right, so I got 7 locks going this week, mostly college, although I have 3 in the pros. Love these pro locks. Yeah, I mean, they're just They're like, wow. Last week I couldn't find games. Here I got 3 locks, and we'll see what happens. But we'll see about Purdy. But I like Cincinnati if Purdy's not playing. If he is playing, we'll see. But I prefer him out, and I'll take Joe Burrow. And Frisco's on a 2-game losing streak with the way they looked against Minnesota. Well, Purdy's probably concussed, and Deebo Samuel didn't play, and the guy who took his place ran the wrong route, and they threw 2 interceptions. All right, anything else? College football, 11:30. Game starts at noon. So games I'll be keeping an eye on are Oklahoma, Kansas, Houston, Kansas State, A&M, South Carr, Miami. I gotta. What is this quarter name? Will he take a knee at the end of the game? Is the question. Michigan State, Minnesota, Georgia, Florida, of course. Texas, BYU. We've got to see this backup quarterback, who he is. Oregon, Utah's the game of the day. I think Utah wins the game. Duke, Louisville, Israeli Leonard playing. Notre Dame, I don't know. They don't play Hartman right. This offensive coordinator is bad. USC, Cal's the free game, 66, go over 60. Tennessee, Kentucky, we talked about. The Air Force, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and then Prime against UCLA and that defense. Will Prime get shut out again? This has all the makings of another Oregon game. Strong defense. UCLA is going to run the ball down their throats. That's a fact, Jack. And that's about it. When you're like your late games, Oak State, Arizona, Vegas, Fresno State, and San Jose State, Hawaii. If you're in trouble. Who do I like? I don't like either of them, really. Detroit's a fraud, and Oakland's just got such a bad coach. You do have Garoppolo playing. Detroit's not as good as everybody thinks because they've been playing really bad teams. However, Oakland's a real bad team. I don't know. It's obvious, you would think, to take this to tease Detroit down to 1.5, maybe, but over under a 45. Now that you have Garoppolo, this is probably more of an under game for Detroit against these type of quarterbacks. They usually put pressure on and keep the score low. They have trouble against passing quarterbacks. So I've narrowed them down to, they had unders with Mayfield, Love. Well, Love wasn't even an under. They just beat them. And then Young and Riddler. Young and Riddler and Mayfield were all unders. They just couldn't do anything against them, but they weren't passing quarterbacks. So here's Garoppolo. They'll probably get 5 sacks on him. I think it's probably the best to go under on the game, but I don't know. Detroit's so inconsistent, and they're so bad. But everybody, because they beat Atlanta and Carolina, they're a Super Bowl team. I mean, have you ever seen a Baltimore game where Baltimore basically just 3 plays, 80-yard touchdowns the whole first quarter or first half? Have you ever seen how inept? And then Detroit sitting there going, "Oh, it's just one of those games." What do you mean one of those games? What kind of answer is that? Well, it was one of those games. We just had a bad game. You had a bad game against the one good team you played, Baltimore. But it wasn't one of those games against Carolina, Atlanta, and Tampa, or Green Bay, or Chicago. No, Green Bay. You didn't have one of those games against them, but you had one of those games against Seattle, and now you've had it against Baltimore. So anytime they play a good team, they have no secondary. as you could see last week. But when you get Riddler, Mayfield, and Young, they're not good quarterbacks, so they can't go to the weakness. Where's Bobby sleeping? I have no idea. I don't keep an eye on Bobby where he sleeps. He's usually up by now. I don't know. We'll have to ask Bobby next time we see him. But I'm in Detroit and he's in Tampa. I have no idea. So we'll see. But anyway, so a lot of locks this weekend. You can buy the locks separately. I think $75 just for the locks. But for $100, you get all the games. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you want to buy the locks to get the others. Because I usually put the locks in in two teasers. So like USC Cal, I might have USC over, which I told you, and I'm playing that with Philadelphia. Good chance I probably have Philly in another teaser and USC over in another teaser. That's how you play teasers. You find the game and you just pound them and you play them in multiple teasers. That's kind of what you have to do. So we will see. Anyway, so that's college. I'll tell you, I think this whole Israeli war is. Thank you, G. I'm happy to be here and happy you're in the family. So my pleasure. If you have any questions, go ahead. I'm just going to turn a little economics because I think we've covered it, but we've got 15 minutes till game time. Anyway, so I just think the government is so corrupt. I was watching some movie yesterday. Oh, I was watching The Attack on Wall Street again. No, I don't want. It's like I know how it ends. I'm trying to get the financial look of it and how corrupt and phony the whole paper system is. What does Wall Street do? Some guy comes out with these mortgage-backed securities, and Wall Street sells it to everybody. And then if you talk to a financial advisor, he puts you in real estate trusts and that. And the guy who did all the shooting says, well, you guaranteed 9% a year. So the bottom line is people really invest to make money, I don't know about getting rich, but to make money. So the guy gave him 60 grand. He figures I'll make 8% a year. I'm not going to get rich, but it'll get to 100. So this is the mentality with people. They want to make money. They go to the job, they make money. They pay their bills, they have money left over. And a lot of people will go on vacations and then put some into some sort of let my money work for me. But they don't understand the game, so they shouldn't be doing it. Some people go play poker or go to the casino. They don't understand the game. Unless you're really sharp, you don't understand how to win at poker. And I always I want to win. I don't want to play for fun. I want to play to win. If I want to have fun, I can go watch YouTube and watch movies like that. So that's the thing. So when you're playing poker, do you even know how to quit a winner? I mean, it's such a simple concept. Oh, that's what I was watching too, is that 2 for the money because it's ending. I can't watch the end of it because it's too stupid, but that's the concept, right? They don't let you quit a winner, or they don't know how do you quit a winner? What are you doing? You're taking the money you worked and you're gambling it with the intent of making money versus putting it into a stock or a bond or the bank. Well, the savings account only gets me 3% or 4%, so I don't really care. It's not enough. And therefore, your you don't want to put it there. I want to make more, right? And so people want to make 15, 20%. That's where Madoff comes in. He's giving you 15%. You're like, oh, okay, great. How does he do it? It doesn't matter. Just shut up. He's going to give you 15%. You're like, okay, I'll shut up. Because my alternative is a CD in a bank at 3% or 2%. I can go play poker, but I don't know how. I don't know how to win at gambling. I remember I leave a table and some guy kind of just talks loud and says, I don't understand this quitting a winner stuff. And I'm like, then I just got up and left. And I'm like, that's what it's all about is why are you here? You're here to win. At the point you're up is the point you leave. You don't stay until you're down. And I'd say 99% of the people who play at the poker room who leave broke. Or they leave with the poker money. So they let's say they start with 500. I play 1-2 no limit, and I start with 300. And most people will lose their 500 and leave. Not me. I get up $100, I leave. See, I leave up because I'm there to win. They don't even understand what winning is. They're just going to play and have fun and have a drink. And yeah, I went to the casino and I dropped $500 playing poker. Yeah, I was up 150, but I wanted to have fun and keep playing. See, they don't get the concept. They don't know how to be winners at gambling. That's why it's the same thing in football. I force you guys, if you're up $1,000 after today's games, to not bet $1,000 tomorrow. Bet at most 600-700. You've got to quit a winner. You've got to win 300-400. That's what that's how I do it, and what I want you to do. I don't want you, once you're up that much, I don't want you to lose it. It was like that last Saturday. I hammered everything Saturday. Sundays sucked, but basically Saturday was good, so we would have quit a winner. So that's really what you're doing. I booked boxing. I was a kid, and I'd booked a few games, and there was Tommy Hearns fighting Sugar Ray Leonard. And I didn't bet it, but I booked it. So we're in Detroit, so everybody wants to bet Hearns. As the bookie, though, it's reverse. So I think the favorite was Hearns. So if you think about this, let's say he was, you bet 120 to win 100. That means I got Ray Leonard plus 120. And so all my Detroit friends bet on Hearns, and Leonard wins. It was the second one where Leonard won late and Hearns couldn't answer the bell. So I won a ton of money on it, probably $1,000. Keep in mind, this is the 70s. But that's as close as I've come to betting boxing. I'm just not, I don't know. I mean, back when I was growing up, you had Hagler and you had Hearns and Leonard and even Ali and Foreman and those guys. So it was really good. And now I couldn't name anybody. But not really. I mean, I mostly do football, a little bit of baseball, as you see. You had Texas yesterday. They came from behind. Corey Singer, what a great fucking 2-run homer. Texas is gonna win this series. There's no question. And anyway, but no. So back to the drawing board. What are you doing? You've made this money and you're trying to let the money work for you, but you don't know how. You don't understand the game. So if you're playing poker, betting football, there should be times you're up and times you're down. And when you're up is when you want to leave winning. Now you might come back 2 hours later. So I might play poker and and have a pair of sevens to aces, and I hit the third seven on the flop, and I make big money because the guy with aces is going to go all in. I'll get up and leave. Now, I might come back 2-3 hours later and do another session, or I might, if I'm in Vegas, I'll do that. But if I'm here, I'll just drive home. But that's what you're waiting for. You want to make $200-$300, you're it's like what I do with stocks, right? When I buy the gold stock, I'll buy 1,000 shares of Newmont Mining, which is a $45 stock, after the drop at 10:30, in which case I'm just waiting for the rise. Then I buy it, and then it goes up 60, 70, 80 cents, and I sell. I make $600-$700. Not every day. Some days 300. Some days I don't make any, and I got to wait because it double dips me. So it goes down, and then it starts going up, and I buy, and then it goes down again. That happens. But generally, more than likely, it's down, and then it goes up, and then it might go down again, but that's when you get out. So, but again, I'm trying to win. See, you've got to understand the mentality. That's what you're doing. So the attack on Wall Street guy is sitting there with the 60 grand. Why is he in real estate trust? He doesn't know a damn thing about it. But whatever the stock firm was putting everybody in the super fund, because that was what they made the most amount of money on. So they don't care about you. If they're going to make the most amount of money on it, then there's more risk. And how everybody missed the fact that people are buying more houses with good credit or jobs is beyond me. See, that's really the point. If the guy on Wall Street understood the game, he would have asked, well, what if people don't pay their mortgages because they shouldn't have gotten it in the first place? What happens? Can I sell out of it? And if the question, so had he known to ask that question, then he could have got the answer. Then he would have said, fuck, this is stupid. These people will start defaulting on it because they never should have got the loan in the first place. But you had to understand that that's what Clinton did in the 90s, which was allow people with no credit to buy. And he guaranteed the investment banks that if they lost, they would do it, which is odd because the banks run the government. So it's like, okay, we'll take this risk. It was like betting today. I'm going to, let's bet, I don't know, we'll bet A&M and we'll lay 10. And if it loses, we'll get our money back. Oh, okay. I mean, that's about what it was. So keep in mind, you're betting, you're taking your money to make money. So if we're going to do it in football, we have to understand why we make the bet. We have to understand how to bet, and we have to quit a winner. I do it all the time. That's what I've done since the 70s. And all I can say is, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't survive, like in anything else. You've heard me for years. I'm doing this for 13. I can't do it if I pick all losers. I can't do it, right? So anyway, so that's what we have to do. So you have to understand the game, and a lot of people get fucked because they want to make their money work for them, right? Which is fine. That's what we do when we bet football. I'm taking money I earned and I'm doing it. And I see this in so many movies. I mean, I just watched all these finance movies again, Wall Street and the football betting with Al Pacino movie. And what I'm noticing is how stupid the people are making the bets. So you got all these high pressure salesmen in the football movie with Al Pacino selling, oh, we've got this, bet a 3-team parlay, bet a lock, bet a teaser, bet 30 grand. All they want's the action. And the people doing the betting are out of their fucking minds because they don't know if these guys know anything. And even if they know anything, if I go 10-0 today, doesn't mean anything. I was hot today. Doesn't mean I'm going to go 10-0 next week or the week after. I usually get on a hot streak and do it. I was very hot last week. Hopefully I'll be hot this week. But you can't look at 1 week. You've got to look at the whole season. I thought I saw something. Anyway. You've got to look at the whole season. But these guys, if somebody called me and said, bet, Michigan State today, I'd hang up on them. I'd say, you got to be out of your mind because I know it. So you can't fuck with me because I know football and I know gold and I know the stocks. I understand it also. I won't get made off. But people, people are weird. They don't understand it. So, I don't want 3% in the bank. I don't want a CD. Yeah, the real estate trust, I get 9%. Oh, okay, let's go in there. Madoff will give me 15%. Oh, okay, let's go with there. How does he do it? We don't know. Don't ask. Just he'll give you 15% every month for doing nothing. Okay. And this is the problem. Then when he goes bust, then you're surprised you've lost everything. Like, I thought I was just supposed to get 15% every month, not lose. So that's what I'm noticing. It's the same thing. These high pressure sales, whether it's in stocks, real estate trust, bonds, or football, it's the same thing. And the problem is the people on the other side are all a bunch of idiots. You should ask the questions. Hey, Greg and John. What's up? Or are you saying something else? HL. I don't know. So that's really what's going on is you've got to understand what you're doing. And so this is why everybody loses. And it's all a big scam. The whole thing's a Ponzi scheme. They've got you in money. I'll use my euro. This is the game that they've set up. This is why they don't want gold. So they do this and they print it. And there's a lot of this out there. You want to make money. You don't realize you're getting screwed, that this is now worth 30 cents, even though it has a 5 on it. It can't buy anything. You're watching this boxing match. Okay. So you have this, which is going down in value anyway. But everything is in the system is paper, stocks, bonds, real estate trust. Even when we go to the casino, it's all paper, but this is all the illusion. This is all bullshit. This is worthless unless it's backed by gold. And since it's not backed by gold, the whole thing is a Ponzi scheme because they just print the money. It's worthless. This is not worth anything. Yeah, maybe I can go to the store and buy a milk with it or a bread. I don't know. I don't buy milk and bread anymore, so I don't know what there is. But that basically is the problem. So the whole Wall Street is a scam on the money. The whole casino is a scam on the money. So you're betting with phony money. So even if you win, what are you're winning paper. So you're so fucked because you don't understand the game. You don't understand how to win. Even if you get lucky to win, you're not winning. You're just winning paper. So these are my synopsis of what I've been watching in these movies, what I'm taking out of the movies. Wall Street, they're selling the super fund. That was worthless. Margin call is the same super fund. That was worthless. Madoff was not selling anything. And the football, they're selling football picks from guys, Earl Anthony, who's flipping a quarter, who thinks he knows what he's doing. And all of a sudden he can't pick. And people are crying and screaming. He has no idea what he's doing. He's not in my league. And so what I don't like about it is it makes somebody like me look bad. Like, oh, well, he doesn't know what he's doing and he quits and all this. TK, you ever play chess and think you'd be a good chess player? I don't understand the strategy in chess. I know the moves. I know there's the knights and the rooks and the bishops move diagonal, and the rooks move up, and the horse moves up 2 and down 1. I don't understand is the strategy. What am I doing? What's the point of it? I know I'm trying to get the king, but I don't understand the strategy of the game. Now, I was watching this girl who's a grandmaster's kid. So she's good. She's like a 2,500, whatever that means. But all she does is sit there and she makes the move and hits the clock and makes the move and hits the clock. And she's playing some scammer in New York. And I bitched her out. I go, what are you doing? Why? I don't give a shit about your match. I want to know is what the fuck you're doing. Why are you doing what you're doing? What is the strategy? And I'm very clear on that when I do football and I do gold and I do economics. I'm very clear what the strategy is. We are betting USC because they score and they can't stop a high school team. Pretty clear. And they're playing California, another team that scores a lot and doesn't have a defense. USC will put up 50, Cal will put up 40. We get a 90-point game on a 60-point over. That is why we're doing what we're doing. That's a strategy. Then the betting is a different strategy. How do we bet it? And then how do we make sure we make money? That's your bankroll. So she's playing chess, and all she's doing is it's a 5-minute game, and she's hitting the clock. She's making these quick moves that you don't even know what the fuck she's doing. And I go, and I bitched her out. I go, if you're going to teach, teach. If you're not going to teach, I don't need to watch you play chess. It doesn't make any sense to me, which is the same thing I get when I watch these YouTubers like Rick Rude and Reichert and Maloney and all these guys who, again, what are you doing? You're not teaching anything. You're making Peter Schiff's master at that. All he is a salesman. I know Austrian economics, do this, buy gold. He's just selling gold, but there's no strategy. There's no why. And that's what I try to make sure that you guys know. But I'm very good at Sudoku because you got to figure out everything. So I'm very, very high class in that. As far as chess, I just never have understood what the fuck we're doing. And I don't know the strategy, so I can't play it. I'm not about to read a book. I would not need a book. I would do it intuitively as I do football, as I do gold. Everything I do is I kind of feel it, and then USC over. That's the game. I'm looking at things, but that's how I come up with it. But anyway, so that's the big problem is they've got you looking to the left, not to the right. It's all a magic act. So you're looking, how do I make money? And the real question you should be asking is, why am I in money? What have I been preaching about the last 2 years? I don't want to be in this. This is the Titanic that's actually sinking. It hit the iceberg. It's going down. They're printing and printing and printing. It's worthless. So the real way to make money is to dump this for gold and silver. That's really what the game is that they're not teaching you. They're not in these movies. And what's the moral of all these movies? In the football movie, everybody lost. In Margin Call, everybody lost. In Attack on Wall Street, everybody lost. Oh, a financial crisis. Why is there a financial crisis? Who's running it? The banks. They're stealing all the money from the people who are trying to get rich or make money because they don't know the game and they control the game. And they can control it because they print the money. And everybody's sitting there like, oh, I just lost my life savings, da-da-da-da-da. Because nobody understands the game. Nobody understands the banks are just printing it. And if you watch The Big Short at the end, they're like, well, why isn't the price of the real estate trusts, why aren't they going down if all the properties are going down? Because they're dumping, right? They're getting out, selling worthless paper. And what do I hear? I heard it in Attack on Wall Street and Margin Call, and probably The Big Short, that they only worried about the company. Like John Hurd sitting there in Attack on Wall Street says, fuck the customers. All we care about is we're solvent, that the bank's solvent. And I'm thinking, but you're the fucking bank. It doesn't matter. You could lose everything. You're going to get bailed out because you run the government. So they have the insurance of the government behind them because it's a fixed field. But why are they, but you'll never hear them say buy gold. And then they don't teach it anymore. So it's a rigged Ponzi scheme that they've got you in money. You're in dollars. They've got you in dollars. You make dollars. You buy it. You use it. But when you want to invest, when I want to make 10% on this, what do? I buy Amazon. I buy Microsoft. I buy the real estate trust. I'll make 9% with no risk. And that's the problem, is the risk is in the money itself. And then the risk is in these commercial banks that are just fucking Madoffing you. They make Madoff look like a Boy Scout. Yes, I saw the movie Wall Street. Well, thank you, Greg or John. I know how to put the pieces together and bring it down to a level that I can explain it, that you guys can understand it. Most people can't do that. If you ever listen to Rick Rude, I can't understand. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. You listen to Maloney, I don't know what he's saying. You listen to Andy Wexman or whatever the gold guy is. He doesn't say anything. I mean, these guys don't say anything, and therefore that's why they come across as idiots to me, because I can smell what they're cooking, and they're just salesmen. That's why I get so violent at Mark McGuire yesterday, is because what the fuck are you talking about? And I don't like the great crash of 2008. No, it was the big scam of 2008. Call it what it is. The banks Ponzi schemed everybody. It was no great financial collapse or whatever. What is that? You're trying to glorify that they fucking, screwed everybody up. However, the professor doesn't get into those things. I know I'm very conservative, not politically, but financially. So I know in my master's in finance, economics, stocks, if the market's 4%, you're not getting 10%, really. You can only get 4, maybe 5. That's it. If somebody's offering you 10%, there's huge risk in it. It's not worth it. It's like what I talked to you guys about money lines. Yeah, on one hand, it's plus 200, but on the other hand, you're minus 500. Does that make any sense to anybody? That, wait a minute, if it's 500, it should be 490? Why is there this huge spread? Because it's a Ponzi scheme. So they make it sound like you're getting odds, but the question is, are the odds you're getting the right odds? No. No, because he's Mark McGuire did steroids. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's with Barry and Clemens and Sosa and all those guys. Moneyball? Yeah, I saw Moneyball. I thought it was the stupidest movie I've ever seen in my life. Telling people to go up and hit foul balls and walk to tire out the pitching is not a real good strategy. And if you notice, Oakland never wins a World Series like that. They won with Reggie and Joe Rudy and Sal Bando and Catfish Hunter because those guys could hit the fucking piss out of the ball. That's why they won. Not, well, we'll have a bunch of guys that are useless. I still don't understand the team trying to say we're a small market team. What are you talking about, small market team? You got a player out there, you better sign him, but you better analyze them and know who's good and who's bad. And I'm sure there's good players at a cheaper price than the Yankees do overpay. So anyway, so the whole thing is a Ponzi scheme because they're trying to, here's 10%. Where are you getting 10% from? You can't give me 10%. It doesn't work. Inflation, you raise the interest rate to try to bring money back in and burn it because you've printed too much money. But with the debt where it is, they can't raise the rates high enough, and you're already causing there's already a recession going on now. So that's what you have. So anyway, that's what you're looking at. It's all Ponzi schemes. It's all Titanic money. It's all paper bullshit. So you work for this. So you think it's okay because you're being scammed. Because when you go to the grocery store, you go out for dinner, you go buy clothes, you pay your bills. You do that in this, but it's just an illusion. It's not real. None of it's real. The companies take it because they have to, because this is the medium of exchange. So they make money. So everything's in dollars, right? That's the scam of it. They're printing the dollars to zero. So you think the restaurant wants to get $20 for the chicken, for the ribs, when they know that Putin said it the best, I don't want your dollars like candy wrappers. It's not worth anything. So all of business is going to collapse in the dollar universe, as I like to call it. So the dollar universe is everything revolves around this. The problem is this is worthless. So everybody's working, it's worthless. Everybody's spending, it's worthless. You go on a trip. It's all a big con game. It's all a big scam. This is worthless. So they print it. They got a million pieces of paper that aren't worth anything. And what the scam is besides me, nobody's telling you to get out of the paper universe and into the gold universe. And if you're sitting there, if you wanted to invest your money back in 2008, gold was $300 or $400 an ounce. If you would have understood that basically since 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard, which meant the dollar is not backed by gold anymore, which means they can print the hell out of it. So the value is going to go to zero because they keep printing it and it's just paper. And the reason the value goes to zero is because nobody wants it. People start realizing it's worthless and they get out. I don't want it. It's sort of like if you're dating somebody and they cheat on you, all of a sudden you're like, no, forget it. And that's kind of what it is. So the dollar, they realize, is not worth anything. They start understanding the scam. And they get out of it, and then they come out with a new one. There'll be euro number 2. So this will be a little bit different looking. This is what the euro is going to try, and euro number 2. The U.S. will come out with U.S. dollar number 2, which will be, I heard it will be plastic like the Canadian dollar. So the monopoly money, it's all monopoly money. None of it's worth anything because it's just paper. It's not really an asset. Does it ever go up in value? When has the dollar ever gone up in value? Never. Never in the history of life has the dollar gone up in value. You've had a lot of countries, Spain, France, and England, who had gold and they were the reserve currencies and they were rich. And then they stopped using the gold because they did wars or whatever. And the next thing you know, they're bankrupt. Then they come out with new phony dollars and people fall for it because they don't know what they're doing. So in light of all that, it isn't, do I want to be Wall Streeted? Do I want to be attacked on Wall Street guy? Do I want to be margin call guy? Do I want to be the big short guy? You don't want to be in any of that shit. And if you're not in any of that shit, you don't lose. You don't win by being in Microsoft, because one of the big things they say in one of these movies is we don't want the guy cashing in. We want to put him in stock A to stock B to stock C. He kind of said, then it'll be real if they actually start making money. Well, we'll keep the illusion going that you're going to make money in the stock market. You're going to make money. So you don't want to take your money out of the market. Then what are you going to do with your money? Well, the most obvious answer is I'll put it in gold and silver, because you know why? That always goes up. Even when you're trying to derivative me, and the price was $200 an ounce when I bought this in 1995. It's now $2,000 an ounce. Even being paper derivative, it still went up from 200 to 2,000. Imagine when we finally get the physical price of gold and it won't be paper derivative kept down. Imagine what the price is going to be. But even if we don't get that, which we will because of Russia, even if we don't get it, it's still going up in value. This is going to zero. They'll come out with a new one. Look at Venezuela. It'll go to zero. So you've got to get out of the paper universe and into the gold universe. It's the only safe place because they can't print it. They can't fake it. So in a real estate trust, they get 10 mortgages from people. They're paying their mortgage. So you got, let's say you owe $1,000 a month. You pay the $1,000 a month. Boom, 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 boom. And they package it into like, okay, there's 8 mortgages. It's whatever, 6-7%. We'll give you 6-7% on it. They'll wrap it up and they'll give you 6%. And they keep the 1 or 2% as commission. But you're still at the mercy that these people keep paying the mortgages, which they won't because they're selling adjustable mortgage. That's part of the scam. As you heard on The Big Short, the kid in Florida says, well, I make $10,000 if I sell the adjustable rate mortgage, but it fucks the guy who has the mortgage because they're paying $500 a month because it's 2%, but it's for sure going to go up to 4% to 6%. And it's going to be, instead of $500 a month, $1,000, $1,500. I can't afford it. I'm going to default on it. That's for sure. So all these adjustable rate mortgages at 10 that he's getting this extra bonus of 10,000 for is it's the whole game. So now you're holding a real estate trust. How much do you think, how comfortable are you that the people paying the mortgages are about to get into the adjustable rates about to kick in and they're all going to default? How comfortable are you that you're not going to get the money? And it's not even you. It goes to, let's say, Goldman Sachs. So my mortgage is with Goldman Sachs. Boom, 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 $1,000 a month. Oh, geez, I can't afford it anymore. I'm defaulting. So Goldman Sachs doesn't get the money to then give to you. So if they don't get the money, they say, fuck you. We just care about Goldman Sachs. We don't care about Howard. We don't care about you guys. We only care about that. I'll read you in a minute, Greg. So that's what the problem is. They're just worried about themselves. But as soon as it hits, so what happened? What happened in margin call? Basically, people were defaulting. They found it, which I don't know why you needed a model. All you needed was common sense going, oh, these people are getting mortgages and they don't have any credit and they don't have a job. How are they going to pay it back? So what are they doing then? They're dumping all what do they guys do? All right, 6 in the morning. All right, you guys all sell the stock, sell all these real estate trusts, and I'll give you a 90% commission. And he sells them all, and Jeremy Iyer says, well, we sold it to market price, willing and able buyers. Bullshit. You didn't sell it at market price. Your market price was fictional. It was kept up by you. It wasn't the real market price. It was a phony market price. They thought it had value. You're selling something worthless at a value. That's illegal because it's not worth the $100 you think it's worth. It's worth zero. And people would buy it. So you're fucking everybody over, not legally, not market price. It's not market price for what you're selling. Now, of course, if you really want to make money and understand the game, then you buy gold and silver. You have no risk. Nobody can fuck you. In the real estate trust, the guy stops paying the mortgage, you're fucked. In the stocks, you got the recession from this inflation because of you printing the money. That's what inflation is. That's it, period. There's one thing, it's printing the money. I hate when these people say price inflation. That is not real. That shows you when you hear somebody on YouTube or somewhere, anywhere, talk about price inflation, run. They don't know what they're talking about. It's not real. Okay. There is no such thing as price inflation. Prices go up because of the inflation, because you're printing this. This is worth less, so it takes more of these to buy it. They haven't rose the price on Coca-Cola or Nabisco now. Prices are up. It's not inflation. It's because the dollar's worth less. And that's what Alligator talks about. He says, well, it's not the gold price going up, it's the dollar going down. Only gold isn't going up because it's fixed. But gold will be the one thing that actually goes up because of demand, because everybody will start realizing they got to get out of this paper universe that they're stuck in, that they don't realize. Talk about the matrix. You're in a paper matrix that you don't understand. And your only way out is if I have gold and I have physical gold. You don't want ETFs like this Rick Rude wants to sell. You don't want stocks like this idiot on Mark McGuire yesterday. So you don't want that. That can be fucked with. But if you have the gold in your hands, it's not relying on other people. That's what they say about like zero party risk or whatever it's called. Basically it means is I've got this, well, I've got this, and there's only 100 of them, right? I've got my Berry bonds, right? And there's only 100 of them. So you can't print more. That's how gold is, right? Gold is, it's not numbered like that, but it's limited, very limited. And so once I have the coin, the government can't print more and more like they do with this, These, they just keep printing and printing and printing, and they steal them because they're a bunch of thieves and crooks in government. So you got to realize that. That's the first part of the game. They're all crooked. It's all corrupt. It's all mafia-led, and the banks, and who runs the banks, the mafia. It's all run. It's all fixed. You're fucked if you want to play that game, you're fucked. So you get out of that game into gold and silver, but nobody will tell you. They don't teach it anymore. I learned it in 1993, 4, and 5 in my master's program at an accounting and finance college in Michigan. And I don't even know if they teach it there anymore, but good luck finding it. So they'll teach you economics, but it's Keynesian, it's communist economics, which they make very hard so you don't get interested in it. They will not talk about gold, or they'll say, well, gold's nothing. Gold doesn't go up. Yeah, because we price fix it down. I love that one. So that's what you must understand. They can't fuck with your gold. It's the only asset that goes up, like a Rolex, like the bonds. Like if this was Mickey Mantle, believe me, this thing would be $1 million. A 68 Mantle if they would have numbered it 100. Those are assets that go up. This, if you want to call it an asset, never goes up. It's never gone up. It's always gone to zero. So why do you want to hold this asset? Well, you don't want to hold it, but that's how you go to work and they pay you in it. And then you need it to go to the grocery store and to dinner and buy clothes, pay your bills. So you need the paper. So you're already in the paper system to function, to work, to pay bills, to eat. So you've got to understand there's two games. There's the one game you go working for and you make the money and you pay your bills, go on a trip, get a steaks. Okay. But the rest of that money, instead of investing it in real estate trust and Wall Street, any of that bullshit, any government, Wall Street bullshit, Ponzi scheme, you put it into gold and silver. At the end of the day, you'll be 1,000,000 times better with no risk. They cannot make it worth zero. It can't be worth zero because of supply demand back to economics. This is worth something because I have it and somebody will buy it. As long as there's a buyer for this that I have, there's a market. That means it has a value. This has a value because of who it is. It's Berry bonds. It's limited to 100. This has a value. Steroids hurt the value, but it has a value It'll always have a value because there'll always be a buyer for it. And if I have it and I want to sell it, there's always a buyer for it. Now we got to determine the price, but there's always a buyer for gold. And if you understand what's happening with all the central banks buying it and Russia, China wanting to go back on the gold system, it needs a much higher price. And that's where we're sitting there going, it's going to go up while this goes down, while this goes down. So it doesn't matter what country, if it's the euro or if it's the dollar, they're going to zero. They're depreciated assets with the value dropping, and the value is almost gone from both of them. Don't kid yourself. The euro's no better off than the dollar or the British pound or Swiss franc or the yen or the yuan or the ruble. They're all going to zero. They all will fail. There's no way they can't. But once people realize, but people are all in the paper game. And I guarantee you, if you asked anybody on Wall Street, they would have no fucking clue what they're doing. They're salesmen. Their mindset is to sell. Their mindset is the commission. They don't understand economics. That's why I say, if you want to go talk to a financial guy or a broker, where do I invest my money? He's going to put you in stocks or this real estate trust fund or something like that, or buy an annuity. He's not going to put you in gold. So right away, you got to run, not walk away from this guy. But you cannot find one that will put you in gold. That's the Madoff part of it. Nobody. I got a call because I'm not working. I get a call for, you want to work at a financial planning place? I said, well, I probably know more about it than anybody else, but I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to put people in stocks. I'm going to put people in gold. And the guy said, well, no, we need to make commission. I go, well, I care about the people. If you want to fuck everybody over, that's your business. Why you don't get commission on gold? You should get commission on gold, just like the coin stores. So if you tell somebody gold, so let's say I tell Bobby to buy silver, and he buys 100 ounces at $25 an ounce, then I get 1% of that or something. That's how they could do it, right? Well, just like they do now. I'll take 1%, or I'll take 10% when it goes up. How about that? I won't take anything now, but if it goes up from 25 to 50, I want the percentage. I want 2% of what you make out of it, and I'll be a very rich man. So, but they don't do that. They're not smart enough to do anything with gold and silver, which is the key to it. Greg and John, my father was in the stock market years ago, but listen to this guy named Bob Brinker on the radio. OKTK. What does that mean, Greg and John? OKTK. So why did he listen to the guy? This is the whole story I'm trying to teach you. Who are you listening to? If they can't explain stuff to you, run, and you ask them the gold question. If they don't want to put you in gold, just run away. If they don't understand Austrian economics, you run away. If they don't understand inflation and think there's price inflation, run away. They don't know they don't know anything. So why would you want to listen to them? Why would you give somebody $100,000 that you don't know, because you don't even understand what a stockbroker or financial planner is? It's about making commission off of your money. It's not about you making money. They don't give a shit if you make money. They give a shit about getting the commission, just making the sale. They're just door-to-door salesmen. So you got to understand that's the whole paper game. And then the government, what do? They print it. JP Morgan prints it. And even the government now, I'm getting Social Security. What do? I get $2,400 a month, which is nothing. And so I should vote for one of the idiots or the other idiot to keep us in this stupid system that doesn't work? So you guys can be a bunch of crooks. Understand the government is run by the banks and they're all crooks. And you can see it on Attack on Wall Street. You can see it on The Big Short. You can see it anywhere you want to see it. they're all crooks. They're all trying to get your money and make your commission off of you. And therefore, they only put you in high commission. That's why the real estate trust were strictly high. They made more money on you than they did if you bought stock or if you bought bonds or if you bought an annuity. They make a little bit on you. It's all about them making commission on you, not you making money. So why do you want to deal with these idiots? I never have dealt with these idiots. Once I got my master's, but I understood my master's, I learned. And once I understand it, I've not had a broker ever in my life. The only stocks I play are my way. I buy gold. I see the drop at 10:30. I see it go like this, which I know is London. I wait a little bit, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then it starts going up. I buy. I don't need a broker for that. I don't need to pay commission for that. And I made a lot of money doing that. And now I've taken that money and I've emptied it out. And now it's all in the gold and silver, which I should have realized much earlier in the 90s. I did realize it, but we were buying baseball cards because I have an idiot for an ex-wife. So we're buying cards instead of gold. Every weekend we should have bought 5 ounces of gold. It was like $200 an ounce. That's what we should have done. All our money should have been in gold and silver, not in the bank. Oh, we made 3% on our money and we get to pay tax on it as income. And oh boy, I love how that is. So wait, you're taking a risk. And if you actually make money, we're going to tax you? What kind of fucked system is that? So per Greg and John, why would you listen to a guy named Bob Brinker on the radio? They're just salesmen. Peter Schiff, this Rick Rude, this Maloney, all these guys selling gold are just salesmen. They don't understand. When they talk about price inflation, it means they don't understand anything. You saw the comments I left yesterday on Mark McGuire. If not, go into Mark McGuire and see the Teaser King, and you see the comments I left. And I share them with you because I'm pissed off that these guys are trying to take advantage of you guys. I'm trying to help, and they're sitting there scamming you. It's like, fuck you guys. Stop scamming my people. So that's why I don't really want you to listen or just – that's why I bring in – look, listen to this. Listen to Egon. He's not trying to sell you anything. But he is saying how good gold is. And so the gold people I want you to listen to, because that's really how you're going to survive is gold and silver. I mean, I'm thinking about it now. I'm out of work and I'm trying to, I got Social Security but I got all my money in gold and silver and then some cash in the safe to pay the girls or to, a credit card or something like that, or to go on a vacation. I don't want to sell my gold at $2,000 an ounce when it's going to be worth $30,000 an ounce. And then even then, I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell it for this. I want to get into whatever the good paper is. So that's why I bought 1/10 of an ounce, 1/4 of an ounce, 1/2 an ounce gold, and then ounces of silver. So if I do need to get money, I can sell the silver to pay a credit card, or Jenna needs something or Daria needs something. DK, do you watch the games today? Yeah, I go to the pool. I go get Chinese, and I tend to watch the 3:30 game. I think is what USC. Like, I'm not going to watch the noon game. There's nothing to watch. Oklahoma, Kansas. Even USC, Cal will get boring because they'll score 100 points. I'm probably most interested in the Colorado UCLA game. Tonight yet. I really bet it very, very small. And I had a tug of war on how to bet it. Do I want UCLA? Do I want to go over? And it was really a difficult choice. So when you have that, I just didn't bet a lot on it. It was a very small bet on it. Can you pay things with gold? With me, you can. If you want to buy my package or rent my brain, I will take gold. If I go to my barbecue restaurant where I get my ribs and chicken and stuff, I could pay them in silver. If there's, see, what you're dealing with is a world of idiots. So if you offer them like a quarter ounce of gold, they wouldn't want it because they wouldn't get that it's going to go up to the moon, right? So they would rather have this than gold, which is unbelievable. That shows you what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bunch of morons. 99% of the people don't understand Austrian economics. They don't understand gold and paper. So they're comfortable with paper. So when I'm sitting in the sauna or am I at the club or somewhere and I'm talking about gold, they're uncomfortable talking about it because they're comfortable with paper. As I watch, people need to be comfortable with the decisions they make. They're comfortable buying Microsoft stock and holding this. And I got 50 grand in my bank and I'm comfortable. I'm fine. I got 50 grand in the bank. And somebody like me comes up, get it out of there. It's going to be worthless. You're not going to be able to get out of the bank and go buy 50,000 worth of gold, but they won't do it because they're not comfortable enough to do it. And I don't know if they trust me or don't trust me, but they're not comfortable enough. Penn State game kind of boring. Who's winning? How you doing, John? Not much here. Indian winning right now. Okay. All right, boys. So that's really the problem is people aren't comfortable. So when I tell you to buy, you guys understand the backstory, so you're more comfortable buying gold and silver because I've explained it to you. And you've gotten comfortable with me going, yeah, okay. But if I just see somebody new at the hot tub, or even at the pool while I'm swimming, I run in the pool so I can run in place and talk. I did that last week. They don't. They're scared out of their mind to sell 100,000. Even our friend, whatchamacallit, who was asking me last week. He bought some gold, but he didn't buy enough gold. He's not comfortable getting out of the paper universe into the gold universe. He can't see it. It's very much like the Matrix, where you're kind of there and you need to get out of it, but you don't realize you need to get out of it. You need to get out of this paper universe. One of the problems is you're getting paid in paper. So most of your bills are in paper. So you're stuck in the paper universe. It's phase two. It's okay, I make 100 grand. I owe 50 grand in bills. So that's 50 grand I keep. That's the gold universe that you need to get into. So yeah, you get paid, you pay all your bill, your rent, your food. Got it. That's one part that you need to be in the paper universe with now. The rest is what you buy gold and silver and not stay in the paper universe. You don't want to buy stocks and bonds and real estate trust. You want to buy gold and silver and gold and silver and gold and silver. And then you won't have all these economic collapses. The 1987 stock market crash, the 2008 crash, and now this crash, right? 2000 was an easy one to, I didn't, somebody asked me, how much did you lose in 2000? I said, I didn't lose a penny. All the tech stocks were way high. I mean, I won't follow I don't play follow the leader very well. My favorite Chinese meal is General Chow, as we talk about every Saturday. As Bobby says, you're getting your General Chow. Yes, I like that. You think America should get involved with Israel versus Palestine? I think we already are, but we don't have any money. How are we in a war? I mean, wars cost money. You're welcome, Gregor John. You don't have money to be in the war. So I don't know what they're doing there, supporting Israel. I don't know what that means. What are you going to give them money and give them aid and give them guns and knives and stuff like that, like with Ukraine? yeah, how did that work? Because Russia is, killing them. But I'm hoping that this is how we get out of the Russia war with Russia. It's really us versus Russia, not Ukraine. But this is a way we can kind of sneak out of it and say, okay, the war's over. And now we're with Israel, and everybody's looking at the Israeli war versus the Ukraine war. Jenna lives there, and they don't really, there's a few bombs, but mostly she can go to the grocery store. She can go to the bank. I send her money. She gets the money. She goes to the bank. She gets her nails done. She goes for a walk, walks her dog. So really, it's not Berlin 1945 when the Russians and the U.S. are just bombarding the city. It's pretty quiet. There's certain places Russia wants, and they're playing a defensive game. So if you come close to me, I'll kill you. But as long as you stay away, I'm not attacking you because I look at you as all Russians anyway. So it's a very unique war, but yeah, that's what's happening. Hello, Marks. You're welcome, Grega. Dollar gold coins. Are you talking like 1 ounce gold coins, or what are you talking about? What's a dollar gold coin? But you buy them in ounces. So I got a 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, 1/10 of an ounce, and ounces of gold coins. They can't inflate them, they can't print them, and they're keeping the price suppressed, which is about to blow up from Russia. So those are the best money / investment to buy. This money is worthless. But they're not going to shine the spotlight on it and say this is worthless. But look what all the other countries are doing. If you kind of just sit back and kind of understand, 90 countries want out of the dollar because it's worthless. They don't want to do business with the dollar if it doesn't have a value. That's what's happening. So if you understand that, you would say, well, I don't want to hold dollars either. Once people realize that the dollar is worthless, which we already do, the line to buy gold will be out the door around the block 12 times. And you won't be able to get it, and you certainly won't be able to get it at 2,000 an ounce. So this is why I use the Titanic. If we hit the iceberg and the ship's sinking, get the fuck off the boat as soon as you can. But you can't sit there and ignore that the boat's sinking, like the movie tried to dictate. Well, I'm going to go back to my room and have a scotch and, watch the ball game. The ship hit an iceberg. There's water coming in. It's probably going to sink. So that's really the problem. When I watched the movie, I really don't understand why the guy just didn't steer left. Just I'm turning the boat. Why did he have to stop the boat and reverse it? He didn't have time. He should have just turned it. Actually, he should have hit it head on, and it wouldn't have sunk, because it would have just hit, and the nose wouldn't have created all the water pouring in like the sides did. That's why it went over 5 decks. But anyway, really, you basically saying the war is about expanding their economy and expanding their land. No, I'm not saying that. That didn't come out of my mouth. You asked me, you think America should get involved with Israel and Palestine war? And I'm saying no. We shouldn't get involved with any war that's not in the U.S. because wars are very expensive. I don't know if we're trying to show, like we'll back you, Russia, but or we'll back, like we're backing the Ukraine is why? What are we doing? Because we wanted to steal stuff from Russia, but they never had a chance to win. And the same thing here. What are we doing in the war? What's our point of the war? Palestinians, Hamas invaded Israel. Do anybody believe that, or do we believe it was Iran / Russia who invaded to goad us in? so we could end the Ukraine war. And that's what I think, that this war is all staged. All wars are staged. The beginning of World War II, Germany went into Poland and put on Polish uniforms and shot Germans, or I don't know if they actually shot them, but they had a movie where it shows these Polish people are like shooting at the Germans, and it was Germans in Polish uniforms, so they could say, look, they're attacking us. And they went to war, and there wasn't even a reason. It was Hitler wanted to steal gold. That's what every war is about, gold or oil. That's it, period. And they're all stupid because the guy doing the war should be the one fighting in it. So Biden should be the one fighting the Palestinian or the Hamas guy, or he should be fighting. Biden should be fighting Putin, and I'd bet on Putin there. He's in good shape. But that's what a war is. It's not, I'm going to send all these kids to die. Where did that come from? What the fuck? How diluted is that? That's like screwing everybody who holds this by printing it to zero and watching it go to zero, and everybody loses all their money because nobody knows that they shouldn't be holding it in the first place. Yeah, the dollar gold coins you can get from the bank. No, you can't. No. I don't know what you're talking about. I go to a coin store and I buy gold. The dollar gold coins you can get from the bank are not gold. If I understand what you're saying, they're just gold plated or whatever. You're very confusing. No, you want to buy actual gold that says 1 ounce of gold on it. You want to buy, I don't really follow what you're saying, but this is what you want to buy, 1 ounce of gold, right? And on the back, it says 1 ounce of gold. That's gold. That's what you buy. I don't know what, you don't buy these from the bank. The banks don't have these. So I'm totally confused by what you're saying on the bank ones are part gold. No, the banks, if you're buying a $1 coin from the bank, they got no gold in it. It's got to say on there 1/10 of an ounce of gold, 1/4 of an ounce of gold. I guarantee you what you're getting from the bank has no gold in it at all. It's gold plated. I have some Highland Mint silver coins that are like Emmett Smith or Jerry Rice, and they're gold plated. So I go into the coin store and how much gold is on here? It's nothing. A gold plated, it's a silver coin that's gold plated is worthless. There is no gold on there that's worth anything. So if you think you're buying a gold, from the bank, you're in you're screwing yourself because there's no gold in it. It's got to say 1 ounce gold. It could be a 1/2 ounce gold, 1/4 ounce gold, a 1/10 ounce gold. Those are your four. Doesn't matter what country. If you buy Maple Leafs, if you buy Cougarans, I got some Philharmonics, US, they must say 1 ounce of gold, $9.99, and then you know they're real gold. And if you're going to a coin store, you can ask them to put it on the meter, which verifies that it is gold, or use a magnet. And if it sticks, it's not real. If it doesn't stick, it is. So take your coins from the bank, put it on the magnet, and I guarantee it'll stick. The Real D, truly appreciate your great lesson and insight on world economics. You're going to make me unstoppable, Professor. Well, nobody else teaches it, right? And I learned this in 94, 95 in my master's program. That's why I call it a master's class, because you're learning master's level. And basically, they don't teach it. My undergrad was Keynesian economics, which is fucking gobbledygook trying to listen to like Russian people talk. What the fuck are you saying? And this is the problem, and you don't know. But it's the things they don't tell you, like that this is worthless. And so really what you need, you have two problems though. You've got to, how do you get paid for working? So you work at General Motors. How are they going to pay you? So the only way is to give you this. Even if it's digital or central bank or whatever the fuck it is, or Bitcoin, it's all bullshit, right? It's still worthless. Until this has got the word gold in it, it's worthless because they'll print too much of it. See, that's the problem. They can print and print and print, but you can't print gold and silver. You dig it out of the ground and they only dig out a little bit that they can even find. So there's very little gold or silver in the ground, or that they pull out. That's going to affect the value. So you really don't have to worry about that. But that's really what you want. So it's your excess after. So if you were to do your own budget and you make your revenue is your paycheck, then you got your expenses, rent, food, utilities, car insurance, gas, Chinese food, and you put all that in there, and then you should have. So if this is 5,000, this should be, let's say 3,000, leaves you 2,000. The 2,000 now you want to get the fuck out of paper and into gold. Now you might need some of it for a trip or some other medical expense that comes up. Fine, that's what you do. So you take it out for the medical. Otherwise, you put it into gold. Now the only problem with gold now is it's so cheap that I don't want to cash it in yet. In other words, I paid $1,800, $1,900. It's only worth $2,000 because it's manipulated. So first question is why? Well, because it's manipulated. Because the U.S. government doesn't want competition for the dollar with gold. They can't win. If anybody knows what the hell they're doing, and you could buy an ounce of gold or you could have paper, you would take the ounce of gold 1,000 times out of 1,000. So the government keeps the price down because they all have dollars and it'll be all worth it. The game will be up once the gold goes up. Once people realize that the gold has value. So what happens is the people, so I'll buy as much gold as I can, but I don't want to sell it at these ridiculously low prices. I went into the coin store and he says, "You got any American Eagles?" I said, "Sure." He says, "Can you sell us some?" And I said, "Not at 2,000 an ounce. You add a zero to that and I can sell you a couple ounces, but I'm not selling it at 2,000. I'm not selling a $50,000 ounce of gold for 2,000. You guys want to, that's your business. I'll be happy to buy them from you, but there's no way this gold's worth $2,000. So the same as silver. You're buying a $2,000 ounce of silver for $25. Every time I go in there, I laugh hysterically when I go out. Like, it's like I just stole something. I mean, I didn't steal it. I paid for it, but it's the same. How can you only charge $25? They don't understand paper gold versus physical gold, which nobody tells you but here. So you got to realize that too. The real price of gold is much, much higher, but they're keeping it down with paper gold, and then they're threatening if you go to a gold-backed currency, we're going to kill you, which is what the real point of the war with Russia right now is them going to a gold-backed currency. We're threatening to kill them, and they're saying, "Fuck you. You won't let us use our money. You subsidized it, so we can't use it. So we have to back it by gold." And their dollar will be worth 1,000 times more than our dollar will be. But you don't want this dollar. You want the dollar backed by gold that they're going to come out with very soon, which is going to raise the price of gold, get rid of this paper bullshit. And now you'll see a serious price on gold. You'll never see a serious price on this because all they do is keep printing it and printing it and printing it. They got to pay for the interest to other countries. That's your debt. Your debt is Germany and France and Britain and all these countries that buy our debt. we owe them. That's the interest. So what do? We print $1 billion and send it to them going, here you go. Here's the money for your debt, which are all bonds. Nobody in their right mind would want a bond, a U.S. bond, when inflation's 15% and they're giving you 4%. Let's see. So I lose 10% plus the value of the dollar going down to buy a bond. What the fuck would I buy a bond? What do you think? We're idiots? John, real. I don't understand, but okay. So that's really the key to it, is they don't want you into gold because they can't. As we learn, I teach you for economics, there's competition. So you determine, what do I want? Do I want Canadian Club or do I want Crown Royal? Which one do I want? And so you have a choice. So from the consumer, you can choose Canadian Club, Crown Royal, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Fago. You can choose what you want. That's the beauty of Austrian economics and competition. There's competitive things, so it's not a monopoly. What the U.S. wants is a monopoly. They only want this. They don't want you in gold. And it's a fixed game, and it makes Madoff look like a Boy Scout. And it needs to be, it's coming to an end because Russia says, we don't want your money. We have oil. Why do we want your money that's worthless? And the Chinese are right behind them with their 100,000 tons of gold going, yeah, why do we want your dollars? And so it's coming to gold, but there's not enough gold out there. So they have to raise the price, which is what's coming. So if you understand that, you make your money, you pay your bills, you have this much money. This is what goes into gold and silver. And this is your retirement. This is your life insurance. This is everything. The more gold you buy, the richer you'll be. There's nothing can stop it. The government can't print more and make it worthless because you own the gold. You own the ounce of gold. Nothing can happen. I don't own all the dollars, and if they keep printing it, the dollar I own is worth less and less. Go to the fucking grocery store and try to. I went yesterday, I bought nothing, and it was $40, and I'm like, what the fuck? So anything that you go back, let's go back to the gambling part. Your attack on Wall Street, your real estate trust, your stock. I'm going to buy stock in Microsoft. All that is in this. This is part of the paper universe. So what you need to do, instead of doing that, you need to take the money and buy gold. And I know Luke did that. He sold all his paper gold and silver stocks for the physical side. That's what you should be doing. You can always, later on, you can sell it and go buy your stocks if you choose to. Once their inventory, the gold miners' inventory gets recognized at the new price at 50,000 instead of 1,500, then yeah, the stocks will go through the roof, and I agree with them. But first, the market's crashing. Now, I've heard where the big short guy, Batman, is shorting the market. Well, he's still going to have a trouble because when the dollar collapses, even if he wins, which he will, the market will crash. The problem is he'll get dollars. He's too stupid. He sees the market crashing, but he's not understanding that if you bought gold, it'll go up. You don't have to worry about trying to get paid off when the market crashes. The real D, I never knew 1 kilo bar is worth 65,800. I don't know. Really? How many ounces? All right, let's do this. How many ounces are in a kilo bar? I don't think that's right. So let's challenge. I throw the flag that we're gonna. Yeah, 1 kilo bar. Okay, so how many? Okay, yeah. So a kilo bar is 32 ounces. So you're buying 32 ounces. So that's right. I mean, it's what you're buying. You're buying 32 ounces. Look at Walmart's trying to sell. They're selling the little Walmart's selling the little 1 ounce bars like this. They're 1 ounce bars for $2,000. So everybody's running to Walmart, which I like is that they're at least figuring out that what they should do. Anyway, so that's the game that they don't want you to know. They want us all in dollars because then we can be controlled easier. They can print the dollar to zero. So what happened to all these people on Attack on Wall Street and The Big Short and The Margin Call, all the same movie, how the housing market crashed and all these people lost all their money. And even the banks, why did the banks get bailed out? The banks came out with a bad product that they priced out, and it caused all these people to lose their money because they trusted them. But nothing happened to the banks. Now, my question is why is anybody trusting them now? You've listened to them and you got burnt. Why would you keep listening? I don't understand that. I'm an INFJ, so I closed the door. Like I said, I was talking to this guy about, he said, I'm getting married. I don't know him that well. I said, why? Well, I love her. Okay, so why are you getting married to her? Well, I don't. Then he got mad at me. And then I saw the girlfriend and I just kind of go, oh my God, you're marrying that? Okay. I said to him, the problem is you're going to meet pretty girls. That's just human nature, right? You're going to see a pretty girl at the restaurant or at Target or wherever you're at. And you're going to say, wow. And he's like, no, I got my girl. No, nobody has their girl. There's always pretty girls walking around that you notice. And so I closed the door on him. So I haven't talked to him in months. And then yesterday he said, oh, hi, how you doing? And I didn't acknowledge him. I kept walking like, I know you're an asshole. I know you've been really mean and rude to me. Why would I want to talk to you? And that's the thing. And that's what you have to do. When somebody lies to you, why the fuck would you waste your time on them? It's the same thing with a girl if you're a guy, or a guy if you're a girl, and you look at them and wave or smile and they don't respond. Don't chase them. Let them just, fine. You're stupid. I get these, I'm applying for finance jobs and I get, sorry, we didn't, take you. We didn't choose you. I respond to that and I go, you're idiots. I basically just go, laugh out loud. You guys are idiots. You don't even realize my whole skill set is far above anybody else you're ever going to hire. And I just say, okay, your loss. I go, it's your loss, not mine. And I just move on and I delete it. But that's, you got to get to that. But so if I see a girl and I kind of like her and she just ignores me or plays or doesn't talk to me, that's it. You're done. Goodbye. And then there's a lot of girls who are real friendly and smiley who you want to talk to. But the girl who sits there and just kind of blows you off, okay, I don't want to talk to her. That's ridiculous. So it's like anything else. You get a bad meal at a restaurant, you don't go back. At poker, there's a dealer that two-outed me. I had aces and queens, and the guy had aces and tens. So there's 2 tens left on the deck, and on the river's a 10. So I lose on a two-outer. So whenever she starts dealing at my table, I get up and I got to go to the bathroom for 20 minutes. I don't want anything to do with her. It doesn't matter. I know she didn't do it on purpose. She's just bad luck. So I don't want to have anything to do with somebody like that because it's bad luck. And that's where we're at. So keep in mind, why you buy gold, you have to buy physical coins that say 1 ounce on them. You do not buy gold stocks. You do not buy ETFs. If you do, you're going to get fucked. There is no gold in the ETF. It's all a scam. These guys are Madoff, this Rick Rude and Sprout. They are scammers. So realize they're not selling you physical gold. There's no physical gold in them. Buy physical gold. Go to the coin store while you still can. Buy the ounces and do it. So it's the extra money. So you get your paycheck. Here's your revenue. Here's your expense. This is what's left over. You take that, and as much as you can afford of that, maybe it's 60, 70, 80%, you buy gold with. Now, you can buy quarter ounces. I buy 1/10 of an ounces are like 200, and quarter ounces are 550, and a half ounce is like 1100. So if you don't have the 2000 all the time to buy the ounce, go buy the 1/10 of an ounce or the quarter. The key is to buy gold. Now you can still buy silver. I don't know. What do you mean? How long today? Maybe another half hour. I'm kind of hungry, and I will go to the gym, and then I'll try to get home by 4. You can always email me on go to www.teaserking.com. Go to the homepage, and my email's on it. And I left it on here a week or 2 ago when my site was going down. Fortunately, it's working, so that's fine. So, and feel free to ask questions, or if your friends and family have a question, you might want to say to your friends and family, like, where's your money at? And I'm hoping they have something invested. We'll get it out of there, and we'll keep them safe by buying gold and not in Microsoft or Amazon. So I'm in line at Meijer's grocery store, and we're waiting, and I go to the guy, we started talking about, the prices are high. I know it's inflation. He doesn't, but I go, yeah, the prices are high. It's the inflation. I says, where do you get your money? Oh, it's an Amazon stock. It never goes down. And I looked at it that day. It was down 5 points. And I go, oh, I thought it never went down. And yet it's down 5 points. I said, I'm in gold, safe, secure. I have no risk, and I'm going to make a fortune. So you do what you do, and I'll do what I do. Stop watching a while back because I stopped betting, but going to start tuning back in. Oh, you're welcome, Max, if you want. You've got to. So the key to betting is to have a bankroll and bet a percentage of it. And if you're losing, ask yourself why. Were you betting? I never heard of you, so I don't think you're betting my picks. If you did, you wouldn't be losing. So you got to ask yourself, every game I pick, I go, why did I win or why did I lose? Even when I win the game, why did I do it? So, but I'm also teaching economics and gold, which is critical of getting out of this and into gold and silver. Now, I don't sell it. I'm not getting a commission. It's purely an economic class, but it's an Austrian economic class, so you learn a lot. But whatever you want to do, Marks, you're welcome here. This is free. This is live, so I can get questions and comments and whatever else. So no problem. I'll probably go another 15 minutes, Greg or John. Like it's 1:10, probably 1:30. I'm getting real hungry. I should stop. I'm gonna grab a banana. Hold on. Okay. Even the teacher needs a little bit of a break. So I have my daily avocados, which are the most healthiest food you can eat. Another thing that most people don't know. You got to keep an open mind, but when you find something that makes sense to you, then you want to use it. I used to give you picks and advice. Okay. So did you stop betting because you were losing on my picks, or did you just stop betting? See, if you buy the picks, then you can see which ones are the locks and how I bet. So if I just give you, like the free pick today is USC Cal over in a teaser. And the second team would be Philadelphia tomorrow. You left when you were up. Okay, good. I'm glad I made you money. I always get amazed. Somebody will give me like $300, and I'll go, "What's this for?" And they go, "Well, you just made me $8,000, so it's a tip." And I never heard of the guy. It's not like a regular customer. So anyway, buy your gold with the money. Well, thank you. Like I said, I can't do this for 40 years if I don't know what I'm doing and I'm giving bad information. Like last week was Alabama. I love that game. I just saw it and I loved it right away. Just like this week, I see the USC Cal 66. I said, tease it over 60. It was like an automatic. As soon as I saw it, I go, perfect. And the same thing with Philly. I go, Washington lost to the fucking Giants. And Philadelphia cheats, so I might as well bet on the cheaters. It's a stupid rugby play. Anyway, so what you want to do is with your extra money that you invest, buy gold. Now, if you're at a company and they offer you a 401k and they're going to match it, I tell them, no, thank you. Because the dollar's going to zero. So what I want to do now is take as much money as I can and buy gold with it. So I was just at Harley, and I didn't want the 401k. I said, no. I'm give me the money. I'm buy gold with it. And usually I go Friday or Saturday. Just I check it out. What's going on? The prices are so low. These guys are so clueless. If I ran a gold and silver store, the first thing I would do is I would not sell. If somebody brought in gold to buy, first of all, I wouldn't fuck them over like they do. I'll give you 95% of spot and then sell it for 100 over spot. What the fuck is that? I would give them spot plus 25, and then I'd sell it at spot plus 100. Then I'd get all the customers who wanted to sell their gold would come to me because I give them the best price. But I would use that as a way to get gold cheap. Because if I got to pay $100 over spot, so if it's 2,000, I got to pay 2,100. If I'm the store, I get to pay, well, he's paying 95%, but let's say I'd pay 2,000 to buy and I'd sell it for 2,100. But what he doesn't understand is that's the paper price, not the physical, and he should hold it and sell it when it's 40, 50,000 an ounce. To sell silver at 25 is just a crime. I mean, these guys are just too stupid. I mean, I really wasn't going to buy a lot of silver. I got 600 ounces, and I don't know what to do, if I should keep it or not anyway, or if I should keep buying. Now I've been buying more gold, but I I do. I definitely need the. I definitely need. I don't need any more. Well, I don't know what I need. I don't know if we're going to need more silver or not. But what'll happen in the world? This will explode. This will go zero. And the problem is most of the people are fucked because they're all in dollars. So you got 50 grand in the bank or you got 100 grand in Microsoft and it's worthless now. Now what do? We're in gold and silver, so we're sitting there going, we're fine. Because our value is going to be worth, a fortune. Now what should happen is they'll come out with a new dollar. It won't be backed by gold because they don't have any. They do not have 8,000 tons of gold, and I can't believe I heard that argument yesterday on Mark McGuire's show where he's saying, well, they supposedly they don't, we think they don't have zero. Why are you even bringing that up? They don't have any gold. The U.S. has zero gold, Canada has zero gold, and England has zero gold. They're living in some fantasy Keynesian world where they think they can just keep printing money and it won't matter. Good luck on that, fellas. So, regardless of that, we're just waiting for the gold to go up. But again, be careful. You don't want to sell it for this, right? You don't want to sell $20,000 ounce of gold, a half ounce of gold, and get this because this is worthless. Why would you give something worth something gold worth 20, well, whatever, for paper, which is what you're trying to get away from? So really what you want to do is kind of wait for the new currency if you can. You really don't want the bad currency. So really right now, the idea is, excuse me, you're getting rid of all this money, which is going to zero before it hits zero, and you're taking it to buy gold and silver. You can buy a Rolex, you can buy a Mantle card or a Brady card, but I'd rather have gold and silver because it's cheap. The Rolex and the Brady and the Mantle card have already gone up, right? I showed you that $60,000 Mantle card, right? It's already at market. Gold's not at market. Gold's at some paper bullshit that they're doing. And so that's why you want gold and silver. It hasn't gone up yet where the Brady and the Rolex is 50,000 and the Brady's, 60, 70,000, where the Mantle you don't want. So if you buy those, you're not going to get the kick. You get the kick with the gold and silver. So really that's all you're trying to do. As much of this that you can get out of. You got 100 grand in the bank. I had 100 grand in the bank. I have zero. I have like 1,000 in the bank now. Everything else is gold and silver. And sometimes it confuses me. I go, oh shit, I don't have a lot of money. And then I realize, yeah, you got all this money in gold and silver at this price. Wait till it goes up. Gold went over 2,000 yesterday. So how is it at 1,800? Oh yeah, that's a real price. Just like gold. Think about it. The Joe Montana rookie card I show you is 125,000. Now it's got to be a PSA 10, but it's 125. You don't think gold's worth a Montana rookie card? You don't think there's more demand for gold than the Montana rookie? Granted, here the Montana rookie, but if you're in Russia and China, do you know who Montana is? It's funny when I go there. My friend in Romania, she's got a New York Yankee hat. And I go, do you like the Yankees? She says, no, but it's New York. So it's funny how people like just the New York logo on it, but that's the Yankees. Nobody walking around with the Giants or the Jets or the Mets. It's all Yankee. It's funny. But that's really what you gotta, what you're what you have to understand is the game is to get out of the dollars. Then you have to understand is where do I put it, gold and silver. Your only caveat is you got to do it soon before the price goes up. You can see what happened, right? The price was 1815 or 1820. It's now 2000. In what? That was the end of September. We're now at the end of October. In a month. So this is the problem. Will there be supply for you? And at what price will it cost you to buy the gold and silver if you wait? And the longer you hold this, the less value this has. This goes to zero. Now what are you going to do? I got 100,000. So let's say you're Warren Buffett. He's got $2 billion of this crap. So what's he going to do when it's worth zero? You ever going to watch a grown man cry? I'll pay and stand in line to see him cry because he's the smartest man in the world because he scams everybody with insurance. I mean, those are the biggest crooks, the insurance crooks. It's the only product you ever buy that you don't want to use. You never want to use your car insurance because then the premiums go up, and you never want to use your house insurance. Life insurance, you only use once, and you're not even there for it. But I like that. Gold's the best life insurance you could have. Should you get out of your Kobe autograph? No, that's an asset. I mean, the cards will keep. Here's what'll happen. So let's walk through an exercise. So here's your Joe Montana rookie card, PSA 10, going for $125,000. Okay. So your question generally is, well, should I get rid of this? And you have two options. A, you can sell it, get the 125 grand and buy gold with it, or you hold it and then it'll get priced in gold. So all the assets, your house, your car, your mantle cards, your Kobe autographs will go to zero in dollars, but will have a value in gold. That's why I call it the paper universe to the gold universe. It's my own thing until these idiots steal it from me, like they did with my Titanic analogy. So the paper universe, the Montana's $125,000 for that Montana card. That's on eBay. That's market price. So as this goes away, because they print it to death and it goes to zero, the Montana card's worth zero in dollars. But because gold's an asset and it's real money and it's the only real money, it then gets a value in gold. It might be an ounce of gold might be worth $125,000, or in better terms, an ounce of gold will be worth a Joe Montana card. I still think an ounce of gold will buy a $500,000 house, maybe 2 ounces. And so the more I can buy at $2,000 an ounce, that'll be worth $500,000. Where's the line? So your Kobe autograph / Montana / Brady will there'll be a transition from paper to gold. So you have an asset. It's still going to keep its value. It's the denomination it's in. So if it's in dollars and the dollars go to zero, it goes to zero in dollars, but it has a value in gold. So let's say we all have gold and we want the Montana rookie card. So we contact the seller and we say, how about a half an ounce of gold for the card? And as gold goes up to 20, 30,000 an ounce, he might take it as it goes higher and higher. So what's going to happen is gold will be priced in dollars, like now, 2,000. Then it goes to 10. Then it goes to 20. Then the dollar dies because nobody wants it. What happens to your gold price? Nothing. It now is priced in gold. That's the beauty of gold that you will not get in Bitcoin. Bitcoin will not be worth anything because it's priced in dollars. And since it's not money, how are you going to price Bitcoin in Bitcoin? I can give you an ounce of gold for the Montana card. You probably will take it. I can go to the restaurant with an ounce of silver and have ribs. He'll take it. I've talked to him. I've educated him. But what do you do? So Bitcoin won't have a value, but you can't value things in Bitcoin, which leaves you with dollars, with gold being valued in gold. And once gold's valued in gold, you buy a house, you buy a car with it. So that's why I keep saying I'm going to go buy a house with my ounce of gold, because then that's the money. So the money turns into gold and silver. So when asked, how much do I buy? It's as much as you can, because not only it's going to be the currency, it's going to be, if you go buy silver today at $25 an ounce, and if we notice, gold went up from 18 to 2000, silver didn't. Silver's at $23 an ounce. So you're buying it for 25, it'll be worth 2,000. So that's what you do. That's how much is enough? I have no idea. It doesn't matter because it's such a steal of the century buy. I buy a $2,000 ounce of silver for $25. Really? That's how we play the game. That's how the professor plays the game. I can get that $2,000 ounce of silver for $25. Where's the line? Well, it's really, spot is $25. It's the derivative paper price. And I go, that's bullshit. It's not the real price of the silver. It's the paper derivative bullshit price of the silver. And that's what we got to understand. That's what I'm telling you. It's really much, much higher in the physical price of silver versus the paper. But the paper's derivative silver, it's all bullshit, right? It's what JP Morgan prints so you don't buy. So they don't want you out of the dollar, so they try to get rid of the competition. And that's what JP Morgan does, because he prints the dollar, because he owns the central bank. So because he prints it, I don't want, let's say we own a hamburger store, a hamburger shop where we sell hamburgers. Let's say we're McDonald's. We don't want competition. We want everybody to buy McDonald's, and then we can raise the price of McDonald's because there's no competition. But we don't want Wendy's and Burger King and all these other stores opening up. They won't come to us and buy our stuff. And that's what's happening here. We don't want competition for the dollar. But over here's the gold store, and you're going, we can't fuck with the gold store. But if we keep the price down, we can keep the interest away. We'll put them in the stock market, because the stock market is dealing with the same paper we're printing. That's why we'll keep them, or we'll keep them in the banks. It's the same dollar we're printing. That's why we want them in the dollar universe or on the Titanic and not in the gold universe. And that's what we're doing. Get you in the gold universe. Because the dollars, it's done, but you can't hold it in the bank. You can't hold it in CDs, real estate trust. You can't hold it in stocks. You can't, so there's nothing that where you can hide the dollar that you're not gonna lose. So the only place to put it is in gold. You get it out of the dollar world and into the gold universe. That's why you do it. Now, a lot of them will say, get out of the dollar, it's crashing. But nobody knows where to put it. So they buy stocks or they buy treasuries like they think that's out of the dollar, where they'll just leave their money in the bank. And they think, like Warren Buffett, well, I'll leave my money in the bank, and when the houses get real cheap because the dollar crashes, but they're not thinking, see, they're missing both sides of the coin. When the dollar crashes, their dollars will be worth zero. So Warren Buffett's worth zero. He can't understand that. He thinks, well, the prices will drop. I'll be able to buy a house really cheap or a car real cheap. With what? With my fake money. Oh, but your money will be worth zero. He can't understand that concept. They don't get that concept for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they don't get the concept. The concept's simple. You can't print the dollar. You can't just keep printing the dollar and have no effect on it. Yet they seem to think they can. I think we remember 1923 in the Weimar Republic of Germany, where they kept printing the dollars and it went to zero. And they bought houses and cars for pennies on the dollar. Back then, you would go to Germany and buy a house with the US dollar or with the gold. So basically, you just couldn't use the Deutschmark or whatever, the German, I assume it was the Deutschmark in the 20s, which was done by inflation. And the difference now is there's no currency you can use. You can't use, as I said, you can't use the euro, the dollar, the Swiss franc, the British pound. They're all going to crash. George Soros has done a good job choosing Keynesians to win the elections and doing that. Every election's fixed because of George Soros right now. So do I want to vote in my election? Why? It won't matter. It's not, it's like if I tell you the Eagle Washington game's fixed, the Eagles are going to win by 14. You going to bet Washington? Get 7? That's the election. It's already, the score's already given out. Biden's going to win. This is going to win. That's going to win. Why would I vote? My vote's worthless. It's all fixed. It's been fixed for 50 years. They keep letting George Soros do it because he's got money and he buys everything and he keeps it corrupt. He was probably behind Madoff. It wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, so that's really why you do it. See, I'm giving you the why, right? And I'm not getting questions that people are saying, I don't understand. I think everybody understands it. You're awesome. Never knew. Good, real, boom, boom, boom. So I give you explanation that you can understand and make sense out of. So if I tell you to buy gold, but I'm telling you to buy gold, I don't get anything out of it. If you go to a broker or financial planner, they're going to charge you commission. So there's an incentive for them to put you in A versus B. There's no incentive for me. I'm not selling you anything. I'm teaching you, and I don't even charge you for the class. So you have that to understand, and that's the other part of it. But in my mind, it's the only place it's a double. You've got to get out of this and out of this if you're European. You got to get out of this, and then you got to get into gold and silver, or the Barry, the Kobe autograph, the Barry. You can get into this, but it's not money. You're still going to need to sell this to buy the gold and silver. So I would recommend at this point, if you have the Kobe autographs, or I have this and I have the Montana card, I'm not going to sell it now. I already have it, but I'm not going to buy it. If I'm going to buy, I'm buying gold and silver. So keep that in mind while you're doing it. But if you talk to a financial planner or stockbroker, or you know somebody in your family or your friends, how are you invested? And they say, I'm in stocks, I'm in T-bills, I'm in the bank. They're not going to listen to you because they're not comfortable. They're comfortable in dollars. They're not going to be comfortable out of dollars. Keep that under advisement. You now know what to do. It makes sense. It's logical. And this is what's going to happen. We are reading the future, and we're 100% accurate with it. Yet when you go try to tell somebody what to do, they won't listen. And you scratch your head and you go, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? I'm trying to help him. I'm not charging him anything. I'll be in the pool. I'll try to help somebody. Did you buy gold? I'm not going to buy gold. I don't want gold. And you go, fine. You stay in your whatever, oil stocks or in the bank, and do, because they're comfortable and they don't want to hear the sky's falling. It's a very tough thing for people to hear the sky's falling. So they don't want to hear it. I'm sure that's why people don't go to the doctor. They don't want to hear bad news. They don't want to hear any problems, so they don't go. And I understand that. I only go when I feel something. But keep that in mind. But then I eat healthy. I'm eating avocados, so I'm in water with ginger and cinnamon in it. So I'm watching what I eat also, so I don't have to go there. It's like watching what you're not putting in chocolate cake into your mouth and getting cancer and getting all these problems is the same as getting out of this and going into gold and silver now before the problem arises. Because once the problem hits, once the shit hits the fan, and this goes, people don't want it, and it goes to zero, then here comes everybody realizes that Titanic is sinking, and they go for the lifeboats. And as I say, as soon as it hit the iceberg, I'd be in the lifeboat. I'm going to hang out here in the lifeboat until you drop it. And when you do, I'm not getting out, and I'll beat the crowd to get onto the lifeboat as soon as we hit the iceberg. That's my signal. And your signal here is these idiots keep printing and printing and printing, and a $35 trillion debt. So once you know those, there's no way out. What are you waiting for? You have no options. It's gold and silver. And I wouldn't buy jewelry. This is worth a lot less because it's 18 karat. So I get fucked on the price. Instead of I get $2,000 for it, I get like $750 of $2,000 because it's 18 karat. So it's really not an ounce of gold. So be careful on your jewelry. If you want to own gold and silver, get coins or bars. Do not get jewelry to buy gold. You can get jewelry because you want to give your spouse, a nice necklace or something. That's fine. But you don't give it to them. You don't like, I'll go buy gold, I'll buy a necklace. No, you go buy gold, you buy the coins, because they'll hold their value, right? They're worth 2,000. This is worth a percentage, but this is marked up. So if you see something for 1 ounce, it's going to be $3,000, not what it's worth when they sell it. So it's sort of like the coin store. When he sells the gold, it's $2,000 plus the $100 premium. And when he buys it, he gives it to you at, let's say, spot $2,000. So he's making $100 when he buys it. So my thought was, I'll stand outside the store when somebody comes to sell it. I'll say, I'll give it to you at spot. And then I buy it at spot. I save the 100 and he gets spot, or 25 over spot. So he makes out and I make out. That's what I would do. But anyway, that's what's happening. When it happens is very soon, because of Russia gets the control of BRICS January 2024. Russia has to have a gold-backed ruble because the ruble is losing value and it's really not traded because all the West won't trade in it. So nobody wants it. If nobody wants it, it has no value, right? It's the 65-year-old woman at the bar. Nobody wants a 65-year-old woman. They all want the 25-year-old woman. So keep that in mind. That's what you want. Or that's what they're going to do. And then they'll have to raise the gold price because they're doing it. And gold and silver always go hand in hand. So don't think because there's a gold standard and the gold price goes up, silver won't. Silver will tag along and it should get back to 10-1. Meaning if gold's 50,000, silver should be 5,000, not $25. So even now, gold at 2,000, silver should be 200. That's the price coming out of the ground, but with all the derivative bullshit, it really makes it, just understand there's paper gold and physical. We're in the physical world, right? We're in the physical universe. We do not give a fuck about paper gold derivatives that are controlled by JP Morgan, so there's no competition for the dollar. You must understand when you see the gold price at 19 something or 2,000, it's a bullshit price. It's a paper price. And once Russia and China, who have 100,000 tons of it, start playing and BRICS starts going to a gold-backed currency, believe me, that paper price goes zero because they all need a higher gold price. Russia and China would love nothing more than $50,000 an ounce gold. And JP Morgan is not going to be able to hold it. And you're already at war with Russia. So what are you going to do? Go to war with Russia? You're already at war with Russia. And that means you're with war with China. And so what he did to Saddam Hussein, who wanted a gold-backed currency, he killed him. And Gaddafi, he killed him. But he can't kill Putin and Xi. There's no way you can kill Russia and China. So that's where you're at with them, right? So you can't kill them. So now they're going to come out with the gold, and they need a higher gold price, and they need to get away from this paper derivative shit, which they don't want. They want the dollar to blow up. Greg and John, everyone share, like, and subscribe to hear the class. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't do any money thing with eBay. I don't want people to have to watch commercials. I mean, this is 3 hours, and I do it in sections, right? So there's some economics, and then you'll hear me walk through the college football, so there's an hour of college football. So once you pick it up, I'm going game by game by game. And then now we finish that. We looked a little at pro, and now we've been in economics. So you can get the rhyme and reason of the class with the sections of where I'm at. So tomorrow we'll look at the pro line and injuries first thing, and then we'll look at the college results, and then we'll talk a little more economics. Now, I'm not going to the gold store like I usually do today. I'm waiting. And my Social Security, it's screwed up. That's screwed up, but it's the second Monday of the month. But the second Monday in the month isn't until the 13th. Last month was the 8th. So I gotta tell Daria that, because I help her with rent. I said, but just wait for my check. Now when I'm working, it doesn't matter. And we unfortunately get some football money in, which helps. But I can see a lot of panic because if you go to the grocery store, man, you're fucked. And fortunately, the gas hasn't gone up yet, but we haven't had gas inflation yet. Fucking idiots. So we'll see what happens, but that's it. We definitely need more economic episodes. Well, I got a whole bunch out there. Just go through what I've done the last, I do one every day, so you can see it. But there's a good one on the Titanic. It's like a 15-minute one, the Titanic versus gold. It's a couple months ago, and then just like now, I'm going to probably come out with the paper universe versus the gold universe. It's all the same. We're being fucked in the currency. The other thing is Austrian economics is free markets, competition, setting prices that were the market, where the Keynesians want to be the government to be the market. So that's a lot of it. And then I go into medium of exchange, which is what makes money, and then what is it, and the properties and stuff like that. So they're all out there, but I'll refresh them as I go. But and feel free to ask any questions. That's why I do it live. I like the questions because it helps other people who are watching or listening, and then you ask a good question, and they go, "Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't think of it." But they're out there, and I'll keep doing them. I enjoy it, and I really like to teach. And I think most people have no clue about Austrian economics. They're kind of taught Keynesian, but it's so frazzled that you walk out of the class going, I don't know what I just did. Anyway, Austrian is the purest and the best. Then I saw some classical. Now, Austrian is classical, but I saw YouTube and it said classical, Austrian, and Keynesian. And I'm like, but Austrian is classical. When I went to school, there was two types. There was classical / Austrian, which is the exact same thing, just a different title, and Keynesian. And that was it. Now there's all these other offshoots of Keynesian. Just think of it. Anytime the government runs things, it's Keynesian. It's bad. It doesn't work. It's corrupt. Anytime the individual sets the market and does things, and it's all based on us, that's the good thing. That's Austrian. That's really the easiest way to look at it, because the government's all corrupt. So you don't want that. You're welcome, Greg and John. Have a good day. Let's go make some money. I'm going to go swim, and I'll be on 11 o'clock tomorrow. As the game start at 1. So this way we can go through the line and the injuries, although we picked up a lot of the injuries today, where we realized Tyrod Taylor will start, Willis will start, probably Darnell over Young, and then we got Garoppolo playing. So we've kind of picked up some injuries there. All right, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. A lot of good, strong plays today and tomorrow if you want to buy the weekend. You just would have missed the noon games, but I don't think I had any noon games. I didn't play Kansas, Oklahoma. I didn't play Kansas State. I didn't play Penn State. So we will see. All right, everybody, have a good day. Off to the pool.